Hello.
Oh.
Welcome. What? Oh.
It was the fade was a little bit. Try again.
Hello. Welcome to a little special stream. It's not your regular High Rollers stream today. I am joined by the lovely Rhiannon and Tom. Hazel.
Hello.
As always.
Hello.
And because it was just the three of us this week, everybody else is still away at Christmas. You got Kim still away, doing her awesome thing out in Malaysia. Katie's still up in Scotland. And I have no idea where Chris Trott is, but he's somewhere. We thought we would do a little special something called, and I like to think that maybe we can make this a yearly tradition.
Yeah.
Where we can maybe do this with more people in next year. We're doing the High Rollers 2018 Rollback.
Yeah, the rollback, and here's the logo for it.
There's no logo.
There's no logo.
There's no logo. This was put together quite last minute.
Yeah.
But what we thought we'd do is look back on the last year of High Rollers. So 2018 for High Rollers, we've done a lot. A lot's happened. And we want to talk about like what our favorite bits were, some of the plans that we have for the future, but also, you know, what you guys thought and what you guys' favorite bits were. And like we got some questions that we got from Twitter. Discord, Tom's been asking in the Discord as well. Which he's got there now.
Nice.
And so we're going to answer some questions, but also, talk about some of our favorite bits. I've also got some video clips of people's favorite moments.
Awesome.
And we can find ones for you guys as well, but
Yeah.
I've got the others because they did email me what they had. Before we jump into that, obviously, it's Jingle Jam. The Jingle Jam's still going.
Yeah.
Make sure you can you go in if you've not got the bundle, which I imagine most of you have. But don't forget, you can still add to your donations, to your bundle. There is a way of doing that. I'm sure there will be a chat bot that will tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
That'll do that. But if you do, we will try and answer any questions from donations throughout the stream. So if you want to add some money to your amount or donate something, we can add in your questions and we'll answer them as best as we can. And then the only other thing to talk about is the fact that Aerois, our main campaign, is back next Sunday, 6th of January. Everyone's back.
7 days.
Oh,
We're
God,
super hyped. We really want to get back to
Yes.
it.
I'm so excited.
I want to hold dice again. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Need
you
those
say that.
dice.
You both say that now. You wait until you see what I've got planned
I'm
for
pumped.
next year. See, I love that. I love the fact that you're pumped whether it's good or bad. You're
I'm
just like,
happy
just
to be
excited.
here, guys. I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited.
So to clarify, the rollback is for 2018. So we're going to be
Yeah.
answering questions about, I guess, Lightfall and towards the finale,
Mm-hmm.
Rogue's Gambit, Aerois.
Yep.
So if you do have any questions and you want to ask them now, Twitter, we've got a post on there, and
Yep.
there is a Ask High Rollers tab in the High Rollers Discord. You can go in there
Go
and
nuts.
ask some questions,
Go
and
Yeah.
we'll
nuts.
try and get through as many.
And go donations.
possible.
Do you know what? I was looking at this, Tom. So 2018. Do you know what it began with? Can you remember what it began with in High Rollers?
Was it the Reynard's family arc?
No. It was just that
after
was that was just before. That was the tail end of 2017.
Oh, really?
2018 began with the Cam Buckland stuff, which was just afterwards.
Ooh.
Oh, Grey Belt.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I was
'cause-
surprised
yeah.
at that.
I remember because there was a massive break in between,
Unky Farrahorn.
Unky
And-
Farrahorn and that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So,
There you go. Little nostalgia for you.
God, so much happened in that time. Though.
Well, yeah. So,
It's,
like,
what, 5 months?
yeah, it was a lot happened for the whole beginning, and I appreciate Rhiannon wasn't there for the finale of campaign 1, but yeah, 2018 was pretty busy. So we finished the Lightfall campaign where we went through the Grey Belt arc. We went through like a bunch of miscellaneous episodes with like you going around and like seeing like friends and family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then you had the Siege of Talisval, the Battle
there
with
was.
Falania.
So we got back to Talisval, and then Falania appeared. What did we do in between? Falania. Oh yeah, we went around and then.
yeah, so
recruited
you went to
everyone.
like the Elf Spires.
Like
you
the
went to recruit
absolute
some people.
final mission.
Yeah, the
kind of
classic
thing.
final mission
Go
thing.
recruit all your friends and allies.
And then you got back. There was the Siege of Talisval. After that, you literally got back, and then that kicked off.
Oh my God, that
Fort
was
Falania. That was like the big main follow, and then we obviously had the epilogue and then the finales.
Yeah, holy crap. So
There's a lot
much
went on.
happens. So there's a lot of stuff
Yep.
for you to ask questions about.
Ask questions
if
about.
you
Yeah.
want to know anything in particular. Because I guess now that Lightfall is finished, we can just talk about that.
Yeah, we
Just
can just talk
to
about
completion.
it. And like, I'm sure that if you're going back and you're watching it, there will be some spoilers for the Lightfall campaign if you've not checked that out yet. We are going to talk about it. There are going to be spoilers, but hopefully you can still enjoy it. But obviously, we're going to talk mainly about Aerois and things like that.
Yeah.
So I've got on my list here. So we finished the Lightfall campaign. We started Aerois.
Yep.
I did the Stream of Many Eyes and did my critical role. Caliana was this year.
Yeah.
We did Rogue's Gambit, which was pretty much straight after the Stream of Many Eyes. We started that, like, it was like a couple of months afterwards.
Yeah, what was that? October to December?
September, I think.
September to
crikey.
November.
Yeah,
Yeah.
September to November because it was across the weeks. We obviously launched Aerois as a podcast. That was new for us. We did that.
That was a brand new thing.
We did some more one-shots. We did like the Spectaculars one-shot. We did all the stuff at Christmas.
Yeah.
We obviously had Rhiannon join us. That was brand new. We added a new member of the family. And
Kim's horror one shot as well.
Kim's horrors
Yeah.
one-shot stuff as well.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, we
yeah.
did the Comic-Con. We
All
did
the
the live
events we
shows.
did.
Yeah, exactly. So
A
lots to
lot
talk
happened.
about.
A lot.
Yeah, been
But I'm
busy
gonna
boys.
start with you, Tom Hazel.
wow.
There were 2 questions that I sent around to the team.
Okay.
And it was the 2 questions were what were your favorite moments from 2018? So those could be game moments or whatever, just any favorite moments you had.
Oh man. Okay.
And then the other question, which we'll answer in a second, was what are your hopes or goals for Aerois specifically in 2019?
Okay.
So favorite moments of last year.
Okay, so I think the final episode of Lighfall was incredible, and I loved that.
Yeah.
That was so good and so epic, and holy crap, what a great episode that was. It's difficult. I don't want to talk about it too much, just in case there's anyone that's like, "Oh, I haven't finished it yet. Fuck." But finished.
What?
It's great.
I've got a video clip which I think it's not fully spoiled. As in, like, it doesn't give away too much of what actually happens.
Okay.
But I thought this was a pretty epic moment, and hopefully Sam...
This might be what I'm thinking of. Here we go.
As emerging
look at
onto a
you, boy.
large stone platform, a great draconic arch showing 2 dragons eating demons
full
emerges.
screen
Yeah, I was getting there.
What you initially believe is Adric. He looks exactly the same. Red and
This
gold
is the
scales
appearance
intermixed.
of... Yeah, if we can get
He
the...
wears bright gold armor.
YouTube
and
turned up
he
a bit, Sam,
carries
that'd
a
be great.
shield which
Yeah,
seems
this
to be
was
made
when
from an enormous red
Korak
dragon scale.
appeared.
He strides
And it all
forward,
kicked
cape
off,
billowing
basically.
behind
Yeah.
him as he stands on this lip, kind of addressing the whole Colosseum before him. People of Brasaris, I stand before you today on the cusp of a great celebration. Soon, our brave soldiers and sorcerers will leave our lands and head east into the lands of the weak.
favourite
Brasaris
thing
has
during
been
all of this,
content with
is
its
watching your
borders for
reactions.
too long. This desert has been our home, but it has become a prison. I, Korak, 108th Worm King, shall elevate our kingdom like never before. Today, we become conquerors. There is a small smattering of applause and cheer for the guards you
And, like, Kim as well. Kim is, like,
shoving people.
freaking out.
Cheer! Cheer for your king! And another cheer kind of echoes around the thing.
Alright, he's our man. He can do it. Great! I have in my head.
Katie's like, no, don't punish me, please.
All I have in my head.
Taking
I
it
don't
old
say
school.
it. I don't say it.
Korak looks around the rest of the
It's
Colosseum.
another one of
didn't say
Mark's
it.
epic speeches that
Oh,
gets
amazing.
First,
interrupted.
we must deal with another man.
So I'm going to pause that there, but I like that because there was just that funny moment with Katie coming in and ruining it at the end. But after that is it's the moment where Adric jumps into the thing and like all of you guys follow.
Oh my
afterwards.
god!
Oh, man.
So that was that was so good because that was also what started the break the chains thing as well, wasn't it?
Yes, so I was trying to find that, but it was really tricky to trying to find the timestamp of where the break the chains bit begins.
So it's difficult with this VOD in particular because it goes on for so long.
Yes,
Because
there were so many donations.
because there was so many donations during that one.
Aw.
So holy shit! Thank you very much for that. But
I'm trying to find the break the chains bit.
Adric does that too, Korak, yeah. And like shove them down and think, I have the power of Tiamat. I've been the east.
let's trigger that through him.
Sure. All of you, what is it?
Oh yes, it's trigger that through him. I remember.
The Korak looks down at him. He's just like, "You miserable fool! I am Worm King here. I have the power of Tiamat and the Worm Throne. You are nothing. You fled this country as a coward, seeking to raise your own country of weak humans and elves. But no matter. Soon we will conquer them, and you will have nothing. This is not your home. You will die here as an exile." And then you can see the guards begin to kind of roach around. But now the tieflings and rebels form a defensive line, kind of blocking the guards from you guys. You hear Visca, "Summon the dragon, Korak. Do not let these fools tempt you. And he's just like, silence. Korak looks up. Too long have I been away. Adric looks up. Too long I have been away.
The good guy.
Too long I have let you strangle our great kingdom with his tyranny. And then he looks at the crowd. I left this place feeling shame and fear. I remained in the east because I did not feel strong enough to claim vengeance or seek justice. And for that I have failed you, and he points at the crowd. 1,000 apologies will never be enough. But today I begin the first steps in setting right what I have done wrong. I have helped the East build a kingdom. I have watched them grow strong and shared what wisdom I have with them. Through them, I have learned what many things. I have found the strength to fight. But I do not fight for vengeance or justice or freedom. These things you must fight for yourselves. My brother has held your shackles for too long. He has bound you with fear, shame, and hatred. Cast off these bonds with me. Rise up! Stand with your families, for your lost, for your home. Today, I will fight. I will fight for hope, for joy, for friendship and brotherhood. Today, I claim my place as Worm King and dethrone this tyrant. Today, I fight for you, my people. And she holds up the Dawnblade, and the crowd just erupts in cheers.
When he finishes that, I'm going to shout as well. Tieflings!
Here it comes!
Metallics! Break the chains! And just start the chant of break
Well,
the chains.
at this point, you watch as the
Look
guys
how
from the Colosseum are beginning
yes.
to like move down.
I love how hyped
but
you
the
are,
crowd just turns on them. They just, with their bare hands, they begin wrestling the guards to the ground. You can see that the ones in the arena have now fully clashed. Andric just turns up. He's just like, points the Dawnblade up at Korak. End this with me now. If you are truly Worm King, slay me by your own hand, coward.
Inspiring leader.
Oh, yeah.
I want to trigger that through him.
Sure.
And then a classic, like that was my 10-minute speech. Job done. Yeah,
I want to break the rules real
amazing.
quick.
yeah, that was an amazing moment.
It was so good.
Fucking
Holy
cool.
shit.
I'm going to jump back now, Sam. Actually, so
So, there you go.
you can, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was an amazing moment, and
Awesome.
for me, like going back and watching those clips, because obviously, like I'm trying to pay attention to everybody, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to like look at my notes and everything else. Just the amount of like genuine like from like you as we're playing, you're like, and then
There's so many moments, like especially towards the end of the Lightfall, where I was just like, man, I'm not even fucking. I'm just going to watch. I just want to watch this.
So yeah, so that was finale of Lightfall. Any other moments?
Yeah, Finale of Lightfall. I really liked the Greybell arc. There was some really epic moments in that one that sort of changed. Something big changed in that one. I think you know what I mean. And in terms of Aerois, episode 1 from the very beginning was just like, bam. Like, here we go, we're starting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like let's go, baby.
We're under attack, we're going. And it was just like, holy shit, like, phew, I guess we're just playing now. They've got to get used to our characters pretty quickly.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to ask you is, we've talked a little bit about this in Q&As and stuff before, but obviously you came into the Lightfall campaign like, when we were like level 12. Like, the guys had been playing for a fairly long time. Or no, maybe
it was 9.
You were 9,
Yeah.
level 9. The guys had been playing for quite a while, and there'd been this like big setup, and you only came in as like a guest kind of character to start with.
Yeah.
But obviously with Aerois, you were there from the start. Like, what's been the biggest change between those two?
Well, so with Reynard, I'd made him as a character that was going to be there for a month. He wasn't there for a month. He was there for about a year.
Yeah.
Or longer than that, probably. So I guess when I built Reynard in mind, he had and I think it's obvious from the first 4 episodes he was in, and the 4 episodes I was meant to be in, he had an arc, and he finished it.
Yeah.
And then for a little while after that, he was kind of like, hey, I'm just a mercenary, I guess, and he had no like story development or anything. It was kind of like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Because I didn't really know how long he was meant to be there for or whatever. So I had to sort of make stuff up as I was going, and some weird stuff happened. I remember he started believing in some religion.
Bahamut, yeah. Yep.
I very quickly
Backed out of that.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for the pamphlets, but no.
Well, I liked the idea to begin with, and then I kind of went away from the session. I was like, actually, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So I took a load of jumps with Reynard that some worked, some didn't.
Yeah.
It was I couldn't really put much thought into it without knowing how much thought I was meant to be putting into it.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult with him. But I think towards the end he sort of found where he was.
Yeah, I think like
and
you
what
said,
he was meant
the
to
Grey Belt arc certainly cemented that, I think, for Reynard as well.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
There was a lot of that, which...
By the end, he was very much the character I wanted him to be. And so I think that's the main difference. Also, first character I ever made,
yes.
like, he definitely had some things, because I made him without knowing anything about D&D.
Yeah.
Beyond, it's a role-playing game and you roll some dice.
Yeah.
Whereas Quill, as a character and as a class, is a lot more complicated because I know the game can support that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Reynard just a, like, pompous hunter. That's basically
Yeah,
it. Really.
I think you even came to me and like you had like this idea of like Gaston meets like certain other kind of tropey archetypes.
Yeah.
You wanted him to play to that. Whereas Quill, I feel, is much more just you. I feel like Quill is
Yeah.
much more your creation
Yeah.
rather than being a bunch of tropes kind of pushed together.
Yeah, he's also, I think, a lot more complicated than Reynard
Yes.
was. Reynard was very just in your face. He's just pompous guy. That's all you need to know about him, and that's the character. Whereas Quill has got a lot of bits about him that makes him unique. Like anyone can make a Reynard, I think.
Yeah, I think Reynard is very typical of what a lot of people's first D&D character would be like.
Yeah.
I feel like that he falls into very similar categories that a lot of people do. But speaking of Quill, what do you hope Quill? Do you have any hopes or goals for Quill in 2019? Like, you know, obviously, as a character, as a person, you must have things that you'd like him to do or things that you'd like him to find or ways for him to develop.
I mean, we've all got, like, a backstory that
Yeah, and you don't have to give
isn't
any of that away.
fully explored yet
Yeah.
for a lot of people. Like, I think there's some stuff in yours that none of us even know about. I think Mark knows everyone's, but
Yeah.
I don't know all of your story. I don't know all of Nova's story. I don't know all of Lucius's or Ayla's. Just like not everyone knows 100% about my one. I think we know the most about each other's because
Yeah.
we met prior to the campaign in the canon.
You're my
But-
feathered son.
A little feathered boy.
Feathery
You're
son boy.
my robo mum.
Yeah.
And I want to explore more of his backstory, like why he was hit by lightning, what happened after he was hit by lightning, and also just go deeper into the Hesper stuff, and become more of a fully realized cleric. Because at the moment he's a cleric with some clerical abilities, but he's just like, why have I got him? I don't know what I'm doing with him. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing with him.
Yeah.
So
you want to kind of explore that more religious side and the more sort of like the mystery behind Hesper and
without being too like white mage from a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
But like just understanding why Quill and what his goal actually is.
That's the nice thing with clerics in D&D now is they don't just have to be these healing pious priests. You know, you don't ever have to be that kind of cleric. You know, you can be your own type of character and your own person. And I think that's something a lot of people do with clerics is they feel they have to play them a certain way, and that's not true at all. And I think that by a god like Hesper, which as we'll discover in the campaign is he is not, you know, he's not Avandra, he's not Siaska, he's not this kind of typical kind of motherly, you know, god. You'll find that will work quite well with him anyway.
Well, there's a lot of different gods, and they all have different ideals and different different goals and different ways that they do things. But
is there anything else that you can think of, like anything specific, like I want Quill to find this thing, or I want him to get a new wing, or I want him to do this?
I want Quill to get that book with the feather on
Yes.
that was in the creepy house.
The ghost mansion.
What was her name again?
Vesselvania.
That's the one.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry. A few people talked about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, kind of annoyed that we left there. But it made sense. We couldn't go back.
No.
Like in that state.
Yeah.
But
you want to try and get that at some
I
point.
want to get that or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Just something that will.
Good to know.
It was a gift. It was literally, hey, I'm Hesper. Here's a book. Do you want to go get it? I can't. Sorry.
Not right now.
Too spooky.
Yeah.
There's a big old ghost in there.
Too spoops.
Yeah, well.
That's kind of what I want to do, or something like that. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, mechanical wing. I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of thinks that it's in the way of Hesper that what's happened to him becomes him now. Like, he might get a mechanical wing, but I don't think he necessarily would be disappointed if he never does.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the kind of thing of like, it's the kind of thing of like once Quill feels like he's earned it, maybe like once
Yeah.
he's come to understand more of what his purpose is.
If he can't exist without the wing, then he doesn't deserve the wing.
There you go. Tony Stark and Spider-Man. Nice.
So that's
Okay, cool.
Great
Well,
wings.
I've got some questions.
Silly.
That's I think mine
Great
was
wing.
better.
I got some generic questions from Twitter here. So the tabletop smithy asked, "Who's the player whose dice takes over the whole table?" I know this, but I
Dice
want to
takes
hear.
over the table.
Yeah, whose dice take over the table? There's always
Well, there's
one.
so many.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Go on.
It's Katie.
Yeah, that was
So
my
many
answer. So she has
dice.
so many
So
dice
many
now.
dice.
It's absurd.
She has like this huge bag. She's becoming the Laura Bailey. Area of Chaos asked, oh, this is a good one. What was your biggest inspiration to start doing high rollers? What made you want to start D&D streaming every week? So obviously I've got like the answer of like why we started it, but I'd be interested to know for you guys, like, what was your inspiration to say yes? Like, when I came to you guys and said, do you want to be in high rollers? Do you want to play D&D?
Yeah.
Was it just like, no, it sounds fun? Or was there anything there? Like, what made you want to actually commit to streaming D&D with us?
I think I asked you.
Did you?
Yeah. Because I remember, because I used
can't
to sit
remember.
next to Matt in the edit room. And I remember I asked him how High Rollers was going. He was saying, like, oh, I'm going to be taking a break and whatever. And I was kind of like, I mean, if they're taking a break, I really want to play D&D.
Yeah.
I think I sent you an email that had, like, a CV attached to it.
Oh my god.
And the CV was like, I once rolled a d6 and it landed on 6. So I think I know how to roll some dice. And you were like, yeah, you sound like you've got the right.
You got the stuff.
You said,
got the stuff.
I'll send
kid.
it to my I'll send it to
Oh
the
my
shareholders
God.
and see what they think. Yeah, see if we can find it.
That'd be hilarious to find.
It's going to be like really far back.
Yeah.
Because I don't get rid of any of my emails.
Literally,
okay, I've got it right here. Okay, I can't bring this
read
up. I'm
through
just
it
going to read
first.
it. I'm just going to read it. So, no, I'm going to read this out. So, Tom Hazel sent this to me on February 22nd, 2017. Hi. Matt lets us know he's taking a break from high rolls and you're looking for people to fill in the gap to help out for that period. I've spoken to Matt about it since I don't want to immediately jump on his heels. So if you're stuck for people or need an editor to replace an editor, which I'm sure is the quota for Matt's position in high rollers, then I'm happy to help. Here's my CV. At least 40 years experience with board games. I own D&D, but never got round to it because my friends are dicks and can't commit to long sessions. I can do at least 2 voices. One of these is my actual voice. The other is a slightly higher pitched one.
turns out to be totally true.
I once rolled 3 dice and got 3 6s, which is an 18. I wasn't rolling for any tests, but if it was, it would have passed. I know the singular form of dice is die, which I'm certain will alleviate most of your worries. I do literally nothing on weekends. Matt is a likable, well-spoken editor who never played D&D prior to High Rollers, and I fit most of those aspects. I'm an editor who's never spoken or likable. Wow, I forgot that you sent this to me.
This is amazing.
At the end, it says, alternatively, if you've already got someone, cool, no worries. I'll send this exact same email to Critical Role, and I'm sure they'll accept. Tom Hazel. What a memory.
Oh, so
my
good.
God.
What about, and so moving on from that comedy, Ree.
Hello.
Obviously, you joined in. You're not even a member of the Yogscast.
No.
You're just our friend that we like.
Yeah.
But what made you say yes? Because I know why we asked you.
Yeah. I just want to play D&D. I've always wanted to play it. It's one of those games that everybody I've got friends at work that talked about it, and I've heard it obviously from talking to you guys and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'd love to fucking get involved with that.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a go because it just looks so fun. And
Yeah.
also, I'm the kind of person who like, I don't know, like my day-to-day life is very sort of almost kind of scripted and very monotonous and day-to-day. And I thought doing something kind of RP and kind of like, what's the word?
Getting to be escapism. You get to like escape and
do something different. Go on adventures and like hang out with my pals on a Sunday, and it's like fucking sweet. Yeah.
Perfect answers. Yeah. Perfect answers.
I remember.
A+ students, guys.
A+ students. You both are. You're both my A+ students.
I remember we were having
You're all my favourites.
a very official High Rollers meeting.
Yes.
And it was before Aerois, and you said, Tom, I know what you're going to say about this, but what do you think about Rhiannon? And I think you were expecting me to say, like, oh, God.
Well, you know what it was? It was because you have mentioned to me in the past, and maybe I think I was getting Rhiannon confused with Bryony.
Yeah.
Because you have said to me, like, when you play online games, I thought you had told me that Rhiannon drove you crazy, but it's Bryony that drives
Bryony drives me insane.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. Oh, we all love her.
She knows exactly what to do to annoy
push
me.
your buttons.
Rhiannon,
and I thought that was
hand,
Rhiannon.
No, Rhiannon is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
When it comes to online games, so I was like super hyped.
You were super hyped. Yeah. I think everybody was. I think everybody was just like, Rhiannon's a sweetheart. We'd love to have her on.
Bryony is another editor's wife.
Yes, Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, awesome. So, and in terms of like, what was the biggest inspiration to start High Rollers overall? This is just a generic question. It was quite simply like, I was a huge fan of Critical Role. Like, I'd obviously been watching Matt do it. I was super pumped. I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
God, I'd love to do something like that. And obviously I'd run some Star Wars stuff for Trot and Hat Films. We had a blast doing it. And when Lewis and Terps were like, hey, we're looking for people to fill up the schedule. Is there anything you want to do? Do you want to do a D&D thing? Me and Trot talked about it, and we were like, man, we could do it. We could do our own little show, like do our own little D&D campaign. It probably won't be very successful.
How long did you expect it to last?
Honestly, I was talking, when I talked to Trot, my plan was like, I'm going to plan about 6 months worth of campaign. And if it lasts that long, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Like, that was my initial thought. I was like, 6 months, we'll be done. What, 3 years?
Yeah, here we
now?
are.
Here we are now. So there we go.
Yeah.
What year was it start?
Nobody can hear you because you were vaping.
2016 did it start?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Man.
And then the last one before we move on, Suna asks, where did you get the inspiration for each of your characters? So let's talk a little bit about Quill and Sentry. Like, in terms of inspiration, what inspired those characters?
When I heard about Aerois, like very, 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 very early on, I think when you first thought, it could be like this thing with some islands, I guess, and like it's going to be this sort of world, and I was just like, yeah, okay, it's going to be a bird person then. Like immediately, I think you said, no, I don't think you even mentioned that Aarakocra were in the world, but I immediately just thought, yeah, I'm going to be a bird person.
I think I said something like, there's floating cities, and it's kind of got like a little bit of like Zelda Skyward Sword kind of like vibe to it. And I think it was something like that where you were like,
I mean, once you said Zelda, I was playing Breath of the Wild at the time. And
that's right, yeah.
Obviously, there's that guy, the
Rivali's Gale.
Well, there's Rivali and the xylophone guy. And are they Ruto or Rito? I can't remember.
Rito,
I think.
Princess Ruto. Rito? One of the two. Anyway,
Yeah.
those guys. Really, really cool. But it wasn't until like way later on that when I started properly writing them up, that I was just kind of like, I'm going to take your fucking wing.
You're like, you're done, son.
Yeah, because flying is so powerful. And B, super dark backstory. And I kind of wanted that for the first time.
Sweet.
She had such a light character last time, really.
Yeah.
Not that I let you stay light for the whole of life.
No, no, you didn't. But yeah, it's weird because there's no super big inspirations. It was just kind of like once you said what the world was, I was just like, yeah, that's who I want. So that's basically what it was.
Okay.
Just bam.
Nice.
Quill.
What about Rhi? What about Sentry? Any inspirations?
Sentry's kind of like the amalgamation of all the things that I like.
Yeah.
Like automatus and like nature and just like big protective figures, like kind of like Groot almost, but like I love like just protective characters that are like off an adventure and trying to like find their purpose sort of thing.
And then it was you had the idea of Solvin. So like, where did that come from? Was that just like a place that you had in your mind?
Sort of
Like,
just made it up.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
I like the same as sort of Quill in the sense that I like characters that have like a twinge of tragedy to them that are kind of
It gives you a lot to build on.
it's nice. It's nice.
If they have everything they could possibly want and everything that makes them happy, they don't necessarily have a lot of drive to go out and do other things. So like, giving them that little kind of thing. I remember when we were first talking about making characters, your first like thing that you wanted to play was you wanted to be a guardian druid, like a Warforged guardian druid. And in fact, it was because you wanted to be a Warforged or something like that I made the guardian race.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do it because you wanted to be a transformer.
I
You wanted to literally be like.
Oh, I remember that. That was the first thing.
But obviously, because we had a Laura play a Moon Elf Druid.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I was like, you can absolutely do it. There's no problems with that. But obviously, we did have one in the last campaign. Also, I will have to make some slight adjustments to them because I do think it's an overpowered class.
Yeah.
Because there's people that ask me about Elora later on. But yeah. I remember that being the first idea. But then when we talked about it, and I think like we were talking about other kind of classes and stuff, and then you latched onto Paladin as like, this is because I think it was the Oath of the Ancients. You were like, yes, this is really cool. Like that blend of nature and protectiveness.
I remember
love it,
actually when we were making the characters, because we already knew that our characters would have interacted before the story began.
Yeah.
We actually spent an evening on Discord or something.
Yeah, we did.
Just like 4 hours, like, well, what if Sentry was this thing? Or what if Quill did this thing or whatever? And we spent so long like developing our characters together.
That was awesome,
That was great, because we came up with so many cool ideas.
Yeah.
It was awesome,
But even then, Solvin didn't come out of that. That was all you.
Yeah.
You genius. There you go.
Aww.
Boom. Right. Kim, who's away, I emailed everybody and asked them to send me their favorite moments from 2018. Kim wrote me a fucking novel, so I'm going to start reading this out. So this is from Kim, and then once I've read this out, what we'll probably do is we'll read out some donations and go through some Discord and chat questions.
Yeah.
But Kim's favorite moments of 2018, she said, Juto finally realizing that Korak was dead and the tieflings were truly free. To be honest, in her heart of hearts, Juto truly never believed she could avenge her parents in a village and achieve this impossible goal. In her darkest moments, she knew it was just something she set as a focus for her anger and sadness, because otherwise she knew she would be lost. I think you can see it all when I burst into tears when it was all done. Also, when Mark described that the tiefling slaves and liberal dragonborn in the crowds were whispering hero in Chinese when they saw Juto, oh man, goosebumps, maximum feels. Juto would never consider herself a hero. It was overwhelming for both her and me as a player. It was one of those moments where, as a player, I was so in awe and thankful for what an amazing DM we have.
Yeah.
I have to stop for a second, just because I'm getting teary, and how much she cares about all of our characters and gives us these electric opportunities to grow. The next one was being pushed to our limits in the Siege of Talis Val. It was like the culmination of 2 years as a player. We really had to be careful with our actions and decisions, but at the same time, we didn't have time to think things out. We had to move fast, and we suffered consequences as a result. I'm not going to read fully out because if you haven't watched it yet, but there's some spoilers. Some people are lost during that time. It was great, but also nerve-wracking to be challenged as a group and pushed from one encounter to the next, then up to the skies to face Falania 1 and 2. How on earth we survived with a fairly good outcome. Man, I still get moments where I think, what if we'd done this?
On that, did we get the best ending?
I mean, there's no such thing as
Did we get the good ending?
I mean, there's no such thing. You guys did what you did, and that's what you got.
I thought it was a great ending.
I do have. So I went back. This is one of my favorite moments because I'm going to just kind of tell me it. So I'm going to bring up a YouTube video, Sam. If we...
Wowee, I did not own that shirt. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed, Tom.
I'm going to turn around.
So this was when you defeated Falania. So, Rhiannon, this was like the main villainess that I'd built up for the whole campaign. And there's like a real... I had been sat on something for a long, long time.
Okay, what's the DC?
So Trot like casts Flame Strike, like everybody's like waiting on this spell to go off. Like, this is a big spell. Everyone's like, what's going to happen?
10-foot radius. She's going to try and counterspell it. What level spell is it?
It's a level 5.
Did you just get an natural 20?
He's got a 14, which means I needed a 15 to counterspell it.
I love that. Like, whenever I would fuck up, you
summons
guys
the
would be like,
magic, it kind of starts dissipating, and then you just see the flash of Avandra's face, and you just kind of grin as this column of fire just It is going to hit Juto.
That's all
Is
right.
it a 5 foot wide or is it a 10 foot?
What save is it?
It's going
What
to hit
save is it?
Juto.
It's a
Dexterity, I believe.
Dex.
Can I make a dexterity saving throw?
You are also resistant to fire anyway.
Yeah.
I don't get advantage on this, do I? But
That fucking
What's your DC?
23.
She fails.
How much damage does this do?
I am going to spend her last legendary resistance. She doesn't
4d6
succeed.
fire, 4d6 radiant.
Roll it. So the radiant, can you half, please?
D6.
Give me all the tinks.
It's not much. It was 46
these
radiant,
will
46 fire.
Fire.
So it really wasn't a lot of damage.
Wait, it's okay. It's okay. I've got it.
Yeah, white radiant, please. So
But
half,
this one's
whatever you roll on
fiery.
that. No, just roll it as he's got it. Speed it up. That's being halved anyway.
That's
so
the radiant, yeah. No one cares.
Lights turning off in the
Nice.
background.
Yeah, that good old classic. Those lights
12.
back in the day.
12.
Looks cool.
Are
though.
you? Is that
That's it, Marcus Sam.
so? Let me describe what happens.
There we go.
This column of fire. You watch as she tries to cancel it.
Kim and Katie are both just
No! This fire comes burning down. You take no damage. Juto leaps out of the way. It incinerates her, and you can see that this form, this giant form, is encrusted with black and scorch marks. And she like staggers for a moment. You think it ends here? Did you honestly think that I would wager this battle here on this ship? And she begins to melt into snow and ice, and her form dissolves into water. The crystal screens behind
She's
you
down
flicker,
there.
and they transform into the face of a blue-skinned, white-haired woman sat on a regal throne in an immense castle. And her expression is grim beyond anything. You've killed my simulacrum. You've defeated my army. I shouldn't have underestimated you small folk, but you can guarantee that I will not let this stand. If I cannot have your city, no one will.
Oh, fuck.
And the screens vanish. And that's where we're going to probably end things so we can read some donations.
like.
Yes.
My favorite thing in this is Tom's genuine confusion. Like,
It's like,
we just killed her.
I
What?
think Trot immediately realised.
Trot knew what spell it was.
Like once you said he started melting, you can see Trot's face.
He's just like, fuck! He knows
Love
exactly what spell
Meanwhile,
it is.
I got no
Yeah.
fucking clue what a
You're,
simulacrum
like
is.
Kim is just like, yeah, she's dead. Like I don't. Like Kim's like, I don't get the problem, and you're just confused. Katie's just still looking nervous, and then when I did the thing with the crystal screens at the end, everybody's just like, Wah!
Well, you know it's a good episode
awesome.
when you say, I think it's time to read donations, and Kim just goes, what?
Yeah.
And the thing is, so, and I talked about this when we finished the campaign, but that moment, I had been sat on for months, and Nina had known about it because I had
Yeah.
to talk to somebody. I was like, oh man, I can't wait. They're gonna find out. And what her whole thing was, so there's this spell called Simulacrum,
Yeah.
and it basically allows you to create an exact copy of yourself, all your spells, all your abilities, but it just has half your hit points.
Oh, that's
but it's made of
cool.
snow and ice.
Yeah.
And so she sent this Simulacrum up to kind of like lead the battle.
Yeah.
So these guys all fly up there thinking like, this is it, this is our final battle. kind
Yeah.
of thing. They go through this fight, like it's pretty hard, but it's not the hardest it could be. And then they literally kill the Simulacrum.
awesome.
And then the real Felania turns up on these screens, and they basically see that this flying giant's castle had basically positioned itself over the main city, and they realize very quickly that her plan was to drop the city on top of it. And it became this race to stop her, and like they didn't
Yeah.
have time to like fully rest. They literally had to just
Wasn't there
go.
like a
That's awesome.
there was like a 2 or 3 week break as well, wasn't there?
I think something like that, yeah.
That's
So we had just the
cool.
longest time of just like, what the hell are we going to do? 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't like to talk about well, you don't like us talking about high rollers outside of high rollers because
I don't mind you talking about it. I don't want people to sit there and be like, right, this is
yeah,
what
no,
we're
we
gonna
don't we
do.
don't,
Like,
we
Yeah.
don't
wanna
make plans. Like
Yeah.
there's so many times where an episode ends and I actively try and make a point of just shutting off because
Yeah.
if I then start thinking about it, then I'm like, okay, well next episode I'll do this,
Yeah.
and this and this, and then it will become too scripted. And I feel like every D&D session will be like that, where you've got a week or 2 weeks or whatever to think about what you want to do next time.
Yeah.
And I try not to do that. I want to react naturally to the moment. So
Yeah.
so when there's like, oh, I'm going to drop a big fucking castle on the city, like because there was such a long break, it was difficult not to think about it. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know what to do. How do I stop that?
And that's my favorite moments. Those are my favorite bits where it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a comment in the chat actually,
Yes.
that just said that you saying that you don't want to see that side of Mark in Aerois.
That's no, that's not true. I love seeing this side of
Well,
Mark.
no,
I think we've
love
seen
it.
that side of Mark
You
more
absolutely
in
have.
Aerois than
No,
we ever did
you
in, like,
haven't. People think this, right? People think that Aerois, like, because I've seen people saying, like, oh, Aerois is, like, much harder or he's being more mean. I'm really not.
No, I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mean Mark. I
Yeah.
mean, like, very serious, very cool, very...
Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
into the RP moment.
Yeah, just the very hardcore moments like that. There's been a lot of those in Aerois
Yeah.
with...
Oh, wait. I've got the Brookstone moment. I've got
That's
one of those.
That's
okay.
still a sore spot
We'll go to
for
that
me.
later
Yeah,
then.
I'm
we'll
like,
go to that later.
spicy
Let me
bites.
finish reading some
Oh
of the
god, some
stuff
of the
here.
fucking stuff I said to him, I regret so much. Do
Uh,
I? No, I don't regret it.
So
Like,
I had a
Kim,
bad
so
feeling
I'll
about him.
carry on with Kim's one. So this continuing her favorite moments of 2018. Lots of Lightfall stuff in here. I love the entire Greybell Karan vampire arc. I'm a huge fan of gothic horror, and I just had Castlevania in my mind for this entire chapter. I also loved seeing Cam grow up at this point and selflessly give up his Lightborn abilities to save Morella. When Trot said what he wanted to do, I was spoilers. I was genuinely shocked as a player. Moments like this are what I live for. Gag of the century. Yeah, it's like that. I think was a really cool arc because it was like we saw Trot actually take this idiotic character and actually make him grow up.
I think that was actually the moment when, like, there are so many episodes where I come out with like chills and like really excited about what has just happened. And I think when Cam did give up his Lightborn, I was just sort of sat at the table just like, fuck,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, man. It's my favorite shit. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Meeting Reynard's family. What a fucking hilarious episode. Mark, Tom, and Trot were on point. I couldn't breathe at one point. It was too funny. I also loved the look on Tom's face when Mark kept introducing more and more of his brothers.
Yeah.
As I didn't think he knew what Mark had planned, but
No, I
he was
didn't.
also so quick-minded to roll with it. It was brilliant RP, RIP Baltier. Big in the sky.
Nice.
We'll save it up because I'm conscious that we've got a lot of stuff to run through, but I do have the moment where you meet Baltier and some of the other family as a clip as well.
Oh, I want to see this. This is
that
going to be
was-
fucking great.
That entire episode, even prior to when Daddy Ferrahorn started knocking on door, was amazing because it was when we were with the genie.
Yes, Salabalat.
Yeah, him. And he went off and started buying a load of stuff.
Yeah, he was going to set up his own business, yeah.
Yeah, that entire episode.
Because
So good.
the whole episode, like the episode before was for Rhiannon's benefit, this genie had basically they went to go and buy stuff with him, but whilst they were in his like planar realm,
Yeah.
it was taken over by his ex-wife, who was basically like, you've been stealing all of my fucking shit to sell to these mortals.
Yeah.
You're in big fucking trouble, mister. And they had to fight their way out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they got back to the normal plane, this genie's like, oh, well, I can't go back to my plane now. I'll set up a business in your realm. Ha-ha! And he just goes around like buying stuff. And
Yeah, he goes over to a shop and
awesome.
just he negotiates a deal and it's just like, I own the shop now. Oh, okay, cool. I do have an ask actually.
Yeah.
If someone can watch that episode again and figure out, I genuinely think that was the episode I had the best RP, and I'm blowing my own horn on that one. But
Like, people have been saying it in the chat.
I
It's
don't-
been your-
I don't think I've ever been as good as that episode. I want someone to watch it and figure out why I did so good, and 'cause I
do you know
want to
what?
recapture it.
I think in a way, what it was you embodied improvisation in that. You had no idea what I had planned,
Yeah.
but everything I threw at you, you just rolled with. But also you let yourself get committed to it. Like when Daddy Ferrahorn is like, you were actively standing up to a father figure. It wasn't Tom Hazel playing a character in a game. You were like, no, father, I'm going to help these people
Yeah.
because it's something I believe in. Like you were very committed to what you were saying.
I think it was that episode when I was like, there was something that clicked in between those two episodes where I was just like, okay, I actually fully understand what Reynard is now. And that episode is a good example.
It's really good. I'll read this, then we'll watch the introduction to the Ferrahorn family. And then finally, from Kim, okay, selfishly, one more. Journeying to Brasaris and showing the party and the audience something Mark and I had worked on all the way back in 2016. I'd written about Juto's refugee village and her partner Yuan Yang when I first created Juto, so it was wonderful to be able to show all of this art to you after 2 years of the show. I partly didn't think we'd actually go to Brasaris, as Filani and Talisval was such an amazing arc as a finale, so it really touched me when Mark announced we would be going there and resolving things with Adric, Korak, and Juto. In a smaller moment, it was also very special to have time to introduce Cam and Reynard to Juto's parents' ancestral shrines. Juto is such a private person and never really shared her innermost self with anyone, so for her to introduce those two to such a big personal part of her life, to two of the most important people to her, it meant a lot. And I know she definitely would have introduced Elora afterwards as well. That was right, because Katie wasn't there for that episode.
I remember, actually, I've only just realised this, but I remember when we finished off Valania and finished off the Broken Sky and finished the Siege of Talasval and all of that stuff, where I was kind of like, was that the final episode? Like, if we carry on now, is it kind of a prologue? Because all of that stuff was so amazing, and it was very like Suicide Mission from Mass Effect 2 and all of that stuff. Like thinking, how can we actually top it if we carry on like this? And it was a bit, it was a bit odd. I think we totally did.
That finale episode is.
Yeah, I didn't think I would come out of that arc, that side arc, and thinking, yeah, that was the ending.
Yeah.
That's where everything finished up. Rather than just, by the way, side quest tacked on at the end. It felt very natural.
And it was a hark back
right
to,
well.
you know, before your time, like when we first started the campaign, like all this stuff about Juto was an early thing. Like she came out with, you know, wanting to kill Korak and Adric and all this kind of stuff. So it was a good way of tying it up. This is a clip of Reynard being reunited with his family.
Oh, brilliant.
In excellent condition, kind of walled off. Loads
Also
of types of
beardless
lumber
meat.
are used, rosewoods, that sort of thing. Mahogany, everywhere that you can see. The carriage pulls in, and the first sight that you greet is there is a regiment of doormen who are ready to open the carriage, and they open the doors, all dressed in the same black and gold uniform that you've seen Reynard wear for so long, all wearing the same kind of livery. As you are making your way in, a big, barrel-chested, burly, handsome, kind of brown hair, very much like Reynard's, but kept loose and long like Kevin Sorbo, with a big sort of barrel chest, shirt open, kind of big kind of like butt chin, sort of Gaston-looking fellow with a big axe over one shoulder and big stomping boots, just wanders in. He's like, "What ho? Oh, who is this?" And then he looks around. "Visitors, I think." "No, it can't be! Brainy!" And he drops the axe down, and he comes over and he wraps these huge arms and like lifts Reynard up. Like, almost, you hear his back pop. And he like pops you down.
Oh, I needed that actually.
What are you doing? We've not seen you in so long.
No.
Been off on any adventures?
I have, in fact, been.
Of course you have.
Yes, actual.
Yes, actual one.
Yes, I slayed a crocodile. A
Crocodile?
giant crocodile. Baltir, come on now. This time and what have you been up to, Baltir?
Oh, we've cleared out one of the nearby lumber woods. I chopped half of them down myself.
Oh, replanted.
That was the first. That was the first.
Oh, good.
Oh, I'm supposed to do that, aren't
Yes,
I?
you are. You know the rules.
I'll make sure some of the other lumbers do it.
Of course, always.
Amazing.
That was just the first.
Yeah. So,
That's so good.
I think I might have answered this in the
Yep.
Q&A stream we did after Lightfall.
Yeah.
But I had no idea about any of it.
Nope.
Like,
I think because there is a bit in that episode where I'm like, "Do you want to write down the names of your family?" And you're like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Right, okay, this is their names."
I think the only thing I had mentioned to you beforehand was that I wanted there to be something to do with Reynard's mum being ill.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to explore it, and then it didn't really come up, and then it didn't really matter, and it was kind of like, it was just a loose thread.
In a way, it was kind of just like, it was like a really soft moment in the sense that like you went and saw her and she was a bit ill and you were like, "Yeah, I'm doing well," and she just, you know, was like, "I'm very proud of you," and but that was it, and it didn't need to be this big epic adventure
No,
thing.
it didn't. I think that was the only thing is that it was just a way to sort of ground Reynard more in the world, rather than just being this fanciful,
ridiculous character.
character. There was something that made him human, and that's
Yeah.
what she was meant to be.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't know he had 3 brothers. Didn't know what his dad was going to be like. I think there was a lot of... So when Daddy Ferrethorn first knocked on the door, my first reaction was, "Oh no!" And then I think you kind of built a character based purely on that reaction, almost.
Yeah.
And then I reacted to that character, you reacted to that character, and we just sort of bounced a lot of
I
things
think it was,
so well.
it was. He is outside the door, knocks on the door, and is like, "Where's my Rainy?" And it was the name Rainy where I just saw you go like, "Oh."
yeah.
I was like, "I've got him."
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right. Kim's written a load more. I'm gonna
wow.
I'm gonna keep
More?
reading.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yep. So she said, all of Rogue's Gambit was a real highlight for me. Man, we really messed Mark up with that campaign. I think Boomer is definitely my favorite little fire starter, and I'm going to miss him a lot. He was a real outlet for me and a great bit of escapism to just be silly and anarchic and dumb and always hungry. I can't get that line. I have been described as fun, yes, out of my head. I also love the chaos Bertie introduced in every scenario, and I'm genuinely a bit sad that we were kind of responsible for Aquamamba's demise, spoiler. Soz trot. It was also a lot of fun to meet Black Viper and experience Ree's I'm a badass voice. Very badass voice.
You regret that, don't you?
No.
You don't regret that voice?
No, not at all.
There was some sessions
so
where you
good.
came out just like, hello.
That's right.
I made a terrible mistake.
But it was so fucking
It was
fun.
so
though.
funny.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So unexpected. Kim goes on to say, and of course, Aerois, to be honest, the last episode we did before the Xmas break gave me chills. With all the lore we got about Night Frost and Tiangong and a spaceship under a freaking lake, fucking yes. Again, it was one of those moments where I just wanted to hug Mark. I've written a little bit about Tiangong in Creative Nova, but he's just taken that spark and turned it into a fire. I cannot wait to find out more about Tiangong, Night Frost, and their race. Yes. Yummy your lore, yes.
Yes.
Law.
Lore. Also, Lucius rolling initiative to fight a cow. For fuck's sake, if D&D awards were a thing, this moment would win them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
We'll
everyone's
talk about
highlight.
cows a bit later on.
Yep.
I think a lot of people have said that's one of their
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's like one of the chief moments. Kim says, as a general High Rollers team moment, I'm extremely proud of what we've achieved in 2018. We finished our 2-year campaign. What a finale it was. We launched our YouTube channel, Twitch channel, our highly successful podcast. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
We have had some absolutely gorgeous merch come out that I'm genuinely proud of, available at store.yogscast.com. Use the code High Rollers for 10% discount.
Thanks,
she actually
Kim.
put that in the thing. She
Amazing.
put that in her email to me. When I was putting together the 2019 calendar, it was a great trip down memory lane and seeing how far we'd come from what we thought was going to be a 2-month show. We launched a new campaign, ran one of the funniest mini campaigns ever, did a huge stage show in March where I got to dress up as Juto, and another packed out show in October where they had freaking photos of our faces behind us at the booth. Holy crap, we've made it, guys.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Matt Mercer guest starring on our Xmas special, the amazing Reed joining our lineup and really reminding us of the pure joy there is in playing D&D. And we all went to a wedding together.
Yes,
Damn,
we
we looked
did.
good. This year has been absolutely amazing for High Rollers, and ultimately, it's a pleasure and a privilege to sit down with you guys every Sunday and roll some dice.
Aw.
I hope you agree.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
And then for Nova in 2019, Kim said, as for 2019, as you can tell, Nova is very excited to explore all this new information she's learned about Night Frost, Tiangong, and the world. She knows the possible location of another downed skiff, so maybe she can convince the gang to go with her. She also desperately wants to go into space. It's a life goal of hers, so she does hope all this information she's gained so far in her travels will help her get there. She's mentioned before when we were in the ghost house how she'd love to find the original city of Jasavir and maybe bring it home to Aerois, so there's that too. She also does worry about Quill's wing and would like to try and make him a mechanical magical prosthetic, but she's also aware he's still unsure about his visions from Hesper and what it all means, so she doesn't want to push him, but she's secretly been drawing up schematics at night just in case.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay.
She also wants to help the rest of the gang too. She's looking forward to getting to somewhere with a decent library so she can look up Ayla's clan and maybe find out more information about Solvin for Sentry.
Yeah.
Lucius, she's not entirely sure what Lucius wants, so for now she's treating him like a kid brother who's always getting himself into trouble. Oh, and ultimately she is a little homesick and misses her family and her mum's cooking. She runs a little cafe, don't you know? She'd love to introduce everyone to her family and then get them all mummed and fussed over.
Yes, please.
Miss you guys and can't wait to see you all next week where I'm going to be jet lagged as hell, but I'm refreshed and ready to roll some dice again and be a big space nerd.
Oh, we miss you, Kim.
And then multiple X's in a row.
Yes, lots of X's. So that was from Kim.
Wow.
It was very kind. Do we have any, should we read some donations?
Yeah, have we got
Yeah.
the most?
Any questions?
Yep, I got
from
them out.
donors?
You got that one? You can read these, Tom, because I just did a lot of reading.
Okay. Kevin Drake has donated $35. Thank you guys for another amazing Jingle Jam. Looking forward to another year of great content. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Damien has added $100 to their donation for a total of $500.
Nice.
Wow,
Thank you, Damien.
thank you.
5 weeks, 500, and then something has been censored there. I'm not sure what it is or why. Glad to do my last one for my faves, the High Rollers.
Aw.
You guys got me back into D&D. Thank you very much. Thank you, Damien. That is amazing.
Thanks, Damien.
Amazing.
Bonnie has added to their donation a little bit more for the best D&D stream.
Aw.
Thank you very much. Austin has donated with, love you guys, been with you since Tech It, keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nightjar has added to their donation.
Hello, Nightjar.
Yeah, we've got a lot
I got a bunch of stuff from Nightjar in
There's
there.
a load of
Aw.
questions and general messages of love from Nightjar as well.
Aw, what a babe.
Happy New Year, pals. Whether 2018 was a good or bad year for you, I hope 2019 is miles better. I can't wait for the campaign to continue in the new year. Nor can we.
Nor can we, mate.
So excited.
Code Cold's backer. Share the love. Thank you very
Will
much.
do.
Kingfish has added to their donation for a total of a half hundo.
Nice.
Here is some money for seeing Lewis in a dress yesterday.
I must have missed that.
I have
It's
also
always worth
missed
donating
that.
for.
Okay. Skylanders Pizza. Hey guys, figured I'd finally get around to getting the bundle this year. Just thought I'd say thanks for the many hours of D&D you have provided over the years. P.S. It's been a while, so thank you very much. Sugurugi.
Sugurugi.
Pray for peace. Thank you very much. And
Pray
lastly, Shadowhunter113. Thank you all for the amazing adventures and a happy new year to everyone.
Boom.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Boom. Okay, so I got some more questions and stuff here. Also just some comments. This was all taken from Twitter.
Cool.
Barris for President said that their fave moments included the Break the Chain speech from the Lightfall finale,
Yep.
Troll's Sacrifice, which I've got a clip for later if we want to talk about that, the cow battle with Lucius, and also
Oh,
anything
yes.
from Rogue's Gambit. Snarky Sparks said their fave moments were anything with Grunker in it,
Oh.
good old Grunks.
Yeah.
Century's Warm Plates, an iconic
Yeah.
classic, and the cow fiasco as well. They also asked, how did the name Aerois come to be?
Yeah.
It was literally because there's Sky Islands and Aero, and then I needed to make Aero sound more fantasy.
Less like a chocolate bar.
Aerois. Done!
Bam.
Not Aerois, then,
Bam.
like how I started
Aerois.
spelling it.
Yeah, Aerois.
Aerois.
Aerois. No,
Oh,
so that was,
No, it's
that was
really-
literally it.
It's such a cool name.
Wasn't that like the first tweet you did?
That was the first tweet I did.
Aerois.
Aerois, guys.
Yeah. Okay, Christina, also known as Temperis Libris, asks, what class would you like to try next? Is there anything left unexplored? And also, is there anything left unexplored in the first campaign or any mini-series?
Okay.
So class, any class you'd like to try next?
Rogue.
You want to try Rogue?
100%. I love
After playing Black
Viper.
Viper, you want to go with a Rogue? A Rogue, a Rouge?
A Rouge.
Rouge is very fun.
Yeah.
I really, really liked. Tolshank was a rogue, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tolshank
I
and
guess
Bertie.
Bertie was sort of a rogue. He
He was
more barbarian.
mainly Rogue, I think.
No, he was mainly barbarian, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, he was swashbuckler, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
So anyway, any classes?
I think I would like to play a sorcerer.
A sorcerer.
That would suit you. I reckon you. I reckon you'd dope.
It's a lot of fun.
I think I've
Yeah.
gradually gone from really, really easy to less easy.
I don't know
less
about
less
easy. Like, Hunt Ranger isn't easy. Fighter and
The
Barbarian.
way
are
I was
easy.
playing the hunter was just shoot shit and jump around.
But even
do
then,
cool
you
stuff.
still very quickly picked up on, like, right, if I use Sharpshooter and if I put Hunter's Mark and then you were pretty good with all that stuff.
definitely remembered my favorite enemy.
Well, yeah, okay.
But
Yeah, Sorcerer's good.
I feel like there's something about sorcerer that I always look at it and think, yeah, that's the hardest class to play, because I think there's just a lot of stuff to keep on top of.
I would say Wizard is the hardest, because Wizard, there is a lot of, like, spellbook stuff that you kind of isn't like an actual combat ability, but you have to do a lot of, like, management to the side of it. Whereas Sorcerer, like, you just know certain spells. It's mainly like the sorcery points management that
Okay.
becomes interesting.
Well, yeah, one of those two. I kind
Sorcerer would
of
still be good. I think you'd like Sorcerer because it's a high charisma class, and you'd like
Yeah.
to talk, and you'd like to be involved in...
I do like to talk.
Yeah, you do like to talk.
You like a challenge though as well. You like.
Well, that's the thing. Like every
Yeah.
time I make a character, I want it to be something that I just haven't done before. Like
Yeah.
Bertie ultimately could have just been another Tolshank, so I took a fist off him.
See, I think at one point, one thing I want to see at some point from you
Okay.
is a proper melee tank. I want to see you somebody who is like stuck in it, who's constantly taking
Yeah.
damage.
It is fun.
Fighter at some point I want to try.
Yeah.
I also haven't played Paladin. Fighter Paladin.
Yeah.
I haven't played a full Barbarian. Played a full Rogue. And haven't played a sorcerer, haven't played a wizard, haven't played a warlock. There's so many I haven't
Warlock,
tried.
Yeah,
yet.
there's so many.
You could also play the vigilante.
The
in my new
vigilante.
class.
Oh.
I fixed it now. Okay, and then is there anything left unexplored in the first campaign or mini-series? So I guess mini-series, like any of the mini-series, like maybe something as Black Viper you can think of, or anything from the first campaign or other mini-series. I mean, I know...
Unexplored.
What's that?
Unexplored.
Yeah, like something that we never got time to like look into, or maybe something that was unfinished.
I think Rainy was very complete.
Reynard was
the
very
end.
complete, I feel. I mean, I know Tolshank.
Tolshank
I
was
would
very
love to
complete.
see that story, but I'd love to see the aftermath of that story.
Holy shit. Rose Gambit.
that was
That was
so
Dead
much
Reckoning.
fun.
That was Dead Reckoning. Yeah,
yeah.
Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning. I wouldn't change anything.
No,
about
that ending was just.
I loved every second of Dead Reckoning.
That's good.
And the ending was, oh no, it was incredible.
What about Rogue's Gambit?
Rose Gambit. I mean, I'd like to have seen how we could have won.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could have. I mean, yeah, that was very
That would've
easy.
been fun.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean that was called "Don't try and fuck over
Don't fuck it
Jarlax."
up. Yeah, I mean, we fucked up one too many times.
So the more and more I've been seeing of people going through Dragon Heist, the more and more I am seeing lots of groups that just turn into a chaotic mess as they get betrayed and stuff. There were a couple of things. Now looking back on Rogue's Gambit, that final encounter, there's definitely some things I would have changed. I made some mistakes in terms of like certain abilities.
It happens.
But the reason that, and it wasn't necessarily they were mistakes, I made poor decisions, I feel. Because it was the very final episode, I was like, I could fuck around and worry about like, can Jarlaxle attune to the dragon staff? Or I can just have this moment where he grabs it and tells the dragon to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just going to create this like really complicated combat.
That's it. Yeah.
Where
That's kind of the difficulty
It's
with
like,
the mini-series, is eventually we get to a point where we're just like, we don't have any
We
time.
have to finish it.
We could have the moment where he picks it up and is like, okay, I'm going to sit around for 3 hours of tuning
Yeah.
to it. Like,
Yeah,
no one
like
wants
what,
to do that.
or like you guys are like, well, now we're gonna fight you with a dragon. It's like, okay, let's have a 4-hour-long combat, guys.
That's
like,
it. Yeah. It just
But
makes the pacing better.
I wish we could have resolved it in a way where you guys didn't get dicked over as much.
I mean, look,
But it was still a great ending.
it
was
was
really
the
fun.
ending that the chaos kind of demanded. Like,
Yeah.
it couldn't really have gone any other way.
Yeah,
Triple Z was like
Oh yeah,
The
Triple
best.
Z.
Zim,
Love-
Zim Balloon.
Pretty great.
Zim Zam
A lot of
Zimbaloo.
people liked him.
So
Zip,
much
zip,
fun.
Zimbaloo.
It's great.
Okay, let me read this one from Katie and talk about what have you done.
I just broke with the bottom thing of the
Okay.
keyboard. It's
Thomas Hazel.
It goes back on its
Thomas.
Thomas.
Let me read this one from Katie, and then we'll talk to Rhiannon. So Katie said her favorite moment. We've still got 50 minutes before break. Sam's just taking a BRB. Katie says her favorite moment was defeating Falania. Which was pretty epic. There was some really epic moments in that fight. She also said was a bittersweet saying goodbye to Aerois, but sending her off alive with her friends and family was the best ending she could have had. I know Katie particularly loved playing Aerois. She was very, very dear to Katie in particular.
Also, she wasn't going to die, was she? She was never down.
Fucking somebody asks me, I can't remember where I put the question, but somebody said like, how desperate were you to knock Aerois unconscious? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I did at some point in the campaign. But I mean, I don't like. That's fine. Like Katie was always at the back. Like I had other targets to focus on. Like,
it,
the monsters
yeah.
were like, I have to deal with these other things first, and then I'll deal with the druid.
I know how desperate you were to knock Reynard down. It got to a point where I was like, can you stop going to the back of the room and avoiding every attack?
I think that was more because
Who flips off an ogre?
well, that.
And
Do
I
you
don't
know
mean
what?
flips off, I mean jump
Like-
and flips off.
I think the thing with Reynard is with Aerois, it's like, okay, you're doing your role, your wild shape to your casting spells. You're not a massive threat right now. The problem with Reynard is he dealt so much damage.
He was amazing.
And I tried to hit you so many
What
times.
was it, like-
And you just be like, ha
I think it was like 2d6, 2d8, twice a turn.
Oh my
plus
god.
10 normally.
Plus
because you
10 as well. I
sharpshooting.
kept sharpshooting as well. He was absurd.
Plus you had like a plus 5 dex
Christ.
bonus. Like,
Yeah.
plus, it was crazy.
And the fucker rode a dragon, so
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty nuts.
awesome.
He was really cool.
that was in the final episode as well.
Katie said, hopes playing Ayla is therapeutic and a hard time, so I hope I can keep her strong. I'm looking forward to her power growing as she levels up and my eventual amazing hammer upgrades. Wink.
Yep.
Also looking forward to how you'll be involved in the clans more in the storyline too, because I enjoy leaving those kind of story twists to you. I like going in and not knowing what plot twist you're going to throw at me. I love Delora's, so I'm really looking forward to Ayla's. And then she said, I just want to apologize for my extreme absences this year. It was needed, and obviously we've seen that Katie's back on it, and she'll be joining us more regularly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We've said this is a thing that we've all talked about as a group with High Rollers, because, you know, mental health and burnout is so easy in what we do, especially for folks like you guys. You guys are working full-time jobs and then coming in on the weekends to do what is effectively another, 4 hours of work. We've always said if people need to take some time out, just take the time out and we'll cover it, because that's really important. So,
Meanwhile, I'm just muddled up here. Whatever you do,
it's fine.
It's too late. You may as well just carry on.
Vincent Kitali asks, how do you feel about lingering injuries after playing with them for a while? I'm very interested to know this myself.
Injuries?
How do you feel about the injuries?
Love them.
I've brought in. Yeah?
I love
great,
them.
yeah.
Yeah? Considering
oh
you
God.
two are the only ones that have really been affected. Well, you were all affected by it in an alternative universe,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
not anymore.
I love it.
It's the best. It's. I remember when you first told us about the idea of adding injuries, and it was because in Lightfall we would get downed and we'd get healed,
Just get popped
and then
up.
we'd get downed and we get healed. And I remember towards the end of the campaign, we started just rezzing people because we had all the money in the world, we had all the abilities in the world, and if someone died, we were just like, yeah, he's coming back. And we kind of did an RP thing where we couldn't res everyone for reasons, which made sense and it worked. But there was nothing stopping us from just saying, like, yeah, everyone that died in Townsville, they're back.
Yeah.
And there was no impact to it. There's no weight to any of the combat. So when I remember there's a question actually that was, why at the start of Aerois were you so scared of fighting?
Yes, yeah, I was going to ask that one a bit.
I mean, later on, there's the reason. Like, in one of the fights, Echo got blown
smashed.
up, and Quill lost an eye.
Yeah.
Lucius got a broken leg at the same time as well.
Oh yeah, Lucius got a broken leg, and like so many things that happened in that one combat, and it was a very difficult combat, and it's a very memorable combat.
Yes.
Because of that, like
Exactly.
we could
Because
have
it
just-
had weight.
Yeah.
exactly. We could have come out of that and said like, okay, we've killed the guy, and we were downed a couple of
Yeah.
times, but it meant nothing.
It meant nothing. And I think that's the thing is, for me, it's changed combat tactics as well.
Yeah.
Because the thing is you look at, like, because I read a lot about, like, the D&D community, and everybody's like, anybody who doesn't play it in the same way that we do, which is fine. Everybody can play D&D in their way.
Yeah.
Some people play it more like a video game or a board game. Some people just want to kill monsters and get loot. That's fine. That's a way to play it.
That's it.
But in those scenarios, a lot of people just say, like, oh yeah, you want to take healing word because as soon as somebody goes down, you just get them back up again.
Yeah.
And it's very dismissive language. Whereas what I like is that now we're in a party where you desperately don't want anybody to go to 0 hit
That's
points.
it.
Like, that's the worst thing that can happen, because you know that there is that risk, there's that chance that you're going to roll a 1 on that saving throw against the injury, and that's a roll on the injury table. And again, even though you know that there's a chance that there's a, the injury won't be that bad, there's the risk of getting your eye torn in half
it.
or whatever.
Or leg
and
break,
so
yeah.
it means that, like, using your abilities to stop people from going too low on hit points,
Yeah.
using healing in a more kind of I'm trying to think of the word, preemptive.
Yeah.
Excuse me, preemptive way is way more interesting to me than just like, oh, Lucius is down again, second level healing word, get back up. Oh, you've gone down again, second level.
Yeah, I remember there
Yeah.
was some moments in Lightfall where there was a character in a fight that wasn't really doing anything, and when they were downed, it was kind of like, okay, you're out of the combat for a while. That's fine because
You've got 3 death saving throws, meh.
we've got 3 death saving throws. We've got some time.
Yeah.
Whereas now we have to stop it before it even happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that risk of, like, if you're down and you get hit, not only is it extra death saving throws, but you get that roll on the injury table
Yeah.
as well. And so it just adds to that. I like it.
Yeah.
I have changed it. So originally when I came up with the injury things, they were going to trigger on critical hits as well. And I think we have had a few of those happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to scrap that now.
Okay.
So it's only going to be when you get reduced to 0 hit points or you're hit whilst you're unconscious.
Okay.
Because, and this
I don't
is
think it
something...
ever happened anyway, did it?
I think it happened, but you saved out of it. So it never,
Yeah.
there was never a cause for
That's
it.
fine.
But the reason that I've changed it is because this is something somebody talked about on, I think it was on the subreddit or in a YouTube comment. They made the good point that there's nothing you guys can do that stops me rolling a 20.
yeah.
Right? Like, it's not fair. It's just completely random. And also, when we get into high levels, when enemies are making like 4 or 5 attacks, that's
Yeah.
a super high chance that I'm going to get a 20 and get a crit.
Yeah.
Whereas
there's a lot of crits. In it.
dropping you guys to 0, that is something you have control over.
Yeah.
You guys can stop that happening through careful tactics or
Yeah, that
healing
makes
or whatever.
sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to change that. But
What
Like
about
from- yeah.
what about if we get a crit?
no.
Damn it.
But like, from an RP standpoint as well, it's cool
Maybe.
because like it adds extra blocks to your character.
Yeah.
It's like you're going along and you would be in fights and you would have scars and injuries and stuff from battle. So it kind of just adds that extra little bit to your character.
Gives you
It's
something to
nice.
build on.
That's it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Quill losing his eye is probably one of my favourite things.
Yeah. It's
I
really
love that.
cool.
See, that's the thing is, I think it's very easy in D&D. A lot of people get like very anxious and they get very upset when bad things happen to their characters, and I'm like, but that's part of the game. Like you take that and you roll with it and you mild it into
Oh
something
no,
new.
me and Rhiannon, we're masochists. Like
You guys are.
we
Like,
would
Yeah.
You guys
happily-
like when that fight, this fight in particular, when
Yes.
Echo got destroyed, you were loving it. You
Yeah.
were laughing and cackling when all this bad stuff is happening. Everyone else is like, oh god, and Rhiannon's just like,
I think. Well,
I loved it.
It's not that we're actively trying to kill our characters.
No,
Like,
of course not.
We don't want them to die. I
No.
didn't want Quill to lose an eye,
Yeah,
but
when it happens,
when it has
it's
happened,
cool.
it's like, oh fuck, actually, holy shit, I could definitely play with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I can
awesome.
roll with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great fun. It
Um,
makes you feel so involved. You're like in there. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck, let's
Yeah.
go.
That's it. And I
great.
love that because like when
Yeah.
I play Far Verona and stuff like that, when bad stuff happens to me, I'm just cackling and like, what do we do?
That's
And
it. It's
that's
so
fun.
good.
It's fun to be stressed. It's like the
Yeah.
people playing horror games, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's fun to do that.
I love stress.
Dear Skull, sorry.
So I have a character that was aged 40 years by a ghost.
Yes. So
Ooh, yeah.
let me talk about that, Tom Hazel, because you know when you were in the ghost house with Vesselvenia in
Yeah.
Aerois, ghosts have an ability called Horrifying Visage. If they activate it, if you fail a saving throw by a certain amount, you age 1d4 times 10 years. And I have had to seriously think about if that hit Quill, how would that work? Because Aarakocra don't live very long.
Yeah, they don't.
I think they're like...
So if it hit Lucius, which it did, whatever. Well, not that ability, but he's an elf. So like,
So,
He lives
but
for, like, 3
elves in Aerois don't have that. They are longer lived, but they're not like thousands of years old.
does anyone know?
It's their age, Aarakocra trait.
Age, just down at the bottom.
Aarakocra reach maturity by age 3. Aarakocra don't live longer than 30 years. So what was it? 1d4?
1d4 times 10.
So what if I...
Now, and the thing is there is nothing in the abilities description for the ghost that says like, oh, it adjusts based on the race it affects.
Yeah.
It just says aged 1d4 times 10 years.
So if you roll a 4 or a 3, then I'm well beyond my price.
You would
Yeah.
have literally just been like, old man dead.
So there's a 50% chance.
Yep.
And even if it was a 2 that you roll, 23-year-old Aarakocra is
Fucking
well
ancient.
into their... Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I just turn into an owl? Super wise old owl. Because
Woohoo.
Quill,
I
is
think you change your type of birth.
Quill is only 3.
Yeah,
Like, he's literally
young man, yeah.
Reached maturity. That's it. That's like he's 18-year-old.
He's kind of a teenager, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, there you go. I got a question here. Dear Skull asked if the
I
Aerois...
don't want that book anymore. I'm not going back.
Oh, you don't have to worry. Vesselvenia is not a ghost anymore. You taking away
Oh,
her
fuck,
prince
yeah.
Yeah.
solved that. She's a banshee now. And they have an ability
Whee!
which just kills you.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But it drops you to 0 hit points. Dear Skull asks if the Aerois gang had their personalities swapped, which would be the coolest / funniest?
Oh.
That's
Personality
that's a
swap.
really good question.
I feel like if Ayla and Sentry swapped, you would have a killing machine.
Yeah.
A rude, I hate everything. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Kill all of you.
killing machine robot.
I
that'd
think,
be
Lucius' personality in Sentry would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That'd be kind of funny, like
Oh,
really sort
yeah.
of prim, proper lady of
Like a C3PO type.
yeah, it'd be like
like
C-3PO, but like in an elegant dress. Like, oh hello, I'm Sentry.
I don't think if Lucius
Quill
and
with Ayla's.
Lucius
Quill and Ayla would be good.
Quill, if they swapped Lucius and Quill, I don't think it'd be super different. We're still both terrified of everything.
Or like a Nova Quill would be really cool. Like a super, just like really like
nerd.
twitchy, but like nerdy, kind of like
I think if you
Love
swapped
that.
Nova and Quill, Nova's personality in Quill, you would basically have my first idea for Quill. He was
Yeah.
basically going to
Super
be
nerd.
that character.
Yeah,
So yeah.
there you go. Nice.
If someone just said I'd have a female bender. Bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah,
God.
basically. Yeah. I am Sentry. Please insert girder.
Please bite ass.
Nerdbird.
Nerdbird. Nightjar. This was so I took her comments from Twitter. She said her favorite moments of last year were Trell's farewell, moments with Allura and her parents, Baltier, the final battle, the cows, the ghost house with Vesselvenia, Quill. Any moments with Quill? She loves Quill.
Yeah.
But also all of our live shows and signings. She said
Aw.
you guys are just generally some of the sweetest and kindest and most genuine folk, and being willing to share your game with us, and of course introducing me to D&D and starting my addiction to dice.
Aw,
And
awesome.
then she asked, are there any classes, races you were tempted by but ultimately decided against?
For Aerois or just in general?
I imagine for Aerois.
Yeah. Moon Druid.
Yeah.
Again, I think for Aerois, I was just, it's going to be
Straight
a bard
in.
cleric. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like once I get an idea
Yeah.
straight away, that's the character I just stick with.
Yeah.
Although, Quill was a little bit different before. He was still a bard cleric, but he was a different domain cleric. When we did session 0,
I think, I can't remember, you knowledge?
is there like a lore domain or not?
Yeah, I
domain?
think it was knowledge domain, yeah.
Yeah, so we played a session 0 like a week before Roa started, and I came out of it and I was just like, "Fuck, I don't really get what Quill is." I just didn't enjoy it at
Yeah.
all. There was something about it where I was just like, Quill wasn't doing anything in that entire session, and he was just not right. And I think in my announcement video I said he was a knowledge domain cleric. That turned out to be changed to the Arcana domain because it gave him more offensive spells and more abilities that are just useful in more. It made him more versatile.
And it still worked because it's still one of Hesper's domains. He is a god of magic, so it still worked really well for that.
Yeah, it just sort of that simple tweak of just one domain for another just suddenly like changed what Quill was. Also, when I played session 0, so this is going to sound dumb, but
Carry on.
I had an idea for what Quill was, and he was basically going to be Rivali, Falco, that sort of very cocky.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking to me about this.
Kind of not cocky Reynard style, but kind of like very dismissive of people.
Yeah.
And very few and far between the compliments and things like that. But when you got a compliment off him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when we did the announcement videos, Squirrel Curls did that artwork based purely on the art that we'd put in the videos and our descriptions of them. And she drew this quill that was very like meek and in the middle of everyone and kind of like spooked by everyone. And I kind of looked at that and I was like, shit, there he is. That's Quill.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I didn't actually come up with my character.
There you go, Squirrel Curls.
It was fan art, and it's the one I've got on my iPad still. But that is basically when I first saw that, I was like, that's the character I was looking for finally,
boy.
and I was able to quickly mold into that.
And for all the people that constantly ask me, how can Quill cast Magic Missile?
Yeah.
It's because he's an Arcana domain cleric.
Yeah.
So, well, it's break time, so we're going to take a break. We're going to take a short break, and then when we get back, I'm going to ask Rhiannon all about her joining in and her favourite moments and her plans for Century in the future. I've got some stuff from Trot, and then I'll talk a little bit about my
Sorry,
favourites.
super quick, Sam. I've got the image on my screen.
Oh, there you go. Look,
That's the
show it
one,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the one that Squirrel Curl sent in, like
Can you
a day after
Yeah.
we did the announcement.
That was
videos.
awesome. I remember seeing it.
And
being like,
it was
Still
just,
one of my favourite
it's
pieces.
just
Yeah.
incredible. Like immediately captured. Like when I say captured the characters, that wasn't Quill when I described him in the video, but it was just
Yeah.
like that's what I want him to be, and that's who he
so
became.
on point. It's
Yeah.
just like
It sums up the group really well.
100%. Even now, even
Yeah.
after playing the characters for like, how long's it been now? Like
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Like spot
Bam.
on.
Spot on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Super good.
So
Well, with that,
There you go.
we're going to take our break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. We're just going to play some ads, and then we'll be back talking a little bit more about. We're doing continuing the High Rollers 2018 Rollback. Thanks very much. We'll read some more donations and stuff when we get back to. See you in 5.
that's my impression.
battlebards.com.
Now hear you rascals with the bellies full of pie, and listen to this tale of old where the heroes won't be high. Hey, the master of concealment and an adept at disguise, with heroes is when he seeks his master husband but for life. He's slain many a villain, be a dragon, monk or wizard. He's looted chests of all the best of treasures he could find. He's the undefeated champion of adventure, war and passion, and he sings this song as he goes along with a fiddle and a pipe. The grass is green, the air is clean, a sweet lass by my side. The wrinkled bud is looking so as trees are run behind. The world is full of monsters, foul and here at the time. So let your rocks propose a toast to these drunken friends of mine. A hero journeyed far and wide, but it riches, gold and magic, for he never found his true love sight, and it made him sad in time.
And one day while he was walking, he was shot as he was singing.
And I made him fair from over there with a bow, and she was mine. She apologized profusely, said she thought he wasn't warm, and she carried him to the nearest inn, where she nursed him back to life. Well, it fell in love directly, and she married him that night. So they're happy and they can't be up in a song about their time. The grass is green, the air is clean, the sweet lass by my side. There ain't nobody looking so I squeeze her up behind. Hey, the world is full of monsters, foul, here at the side. So lift your rose and toast to these broken friends of mine.
Oh man, Halfling Campe. Haven't heard that one in a while.
What a treat.
What a treat.
What a Christmas treat. For you.
For you, the audience. Welcome back to the High Rollers 2018 Rollback. This is us going back over the last year of High Rollers, talking about our favorite bits. Wow.
And what a year it was.
You could not sound more sarcastic.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. That was a genuine.
It certainly wasn't.
Wowee.
It was a 12-month period in which things happened.
Wow, High Rollers, am I right, guys?
Wow, High Rollers.
Hooray.
Let me just rattle through some donations, and then we'll jump into talking to Rhiannon about her favorite bits.
Yeah.
Cat's Meow donated, what is Yogscast? I mean, I can't answer that question, but enjoy your humble bundle of games.
It's this word.
Yeah.
This big yellow word.
Google it.
That's Yogscast.
Don't Google it. There's probably some.
It's probably bad. Duek Daniel donated $5 additional and said, Mark, what is your opinion on a player classing in necromancy? I like the idea of having to hide their powers in town so the townsfolk don't hunt them down. Also, my name is pronounced as Dweg. Oh,
That's
I'm
great.
sorry, Dweg. So the way that it's going to work in Aerois, because each world I think is different, there are places in Aerois where necromancy is just seen as a thing. It is seen as a tool to be used like any other form of magic. And then there are places in Aerois where it's totally not cool, and the divine, the churches and stuff would absolutely crack down on it. There are also certain religions that really don't like undead. Things like Palador, Kellara, and Siaska, both very, very much against undead. So they're followers. Why are you giving me that look, Tom?
Just it sounds like an evil place to me.
I mean,
I don't want to go there.
Sure.
Or I do.
Here's a cool thing. There are whole planets full of undead.
Oh, I
Sorry,
love
what
that.
the fuck?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's like, how like in planes, so there's a plane called the Shadowfell in normal D&D,
Right.
which is like the realm of undeath. It's like where undead can come from and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So there's a planet version in Aerois, which is the same thing. But there's more than just one. Ian donated. This donation comes as part of my grandma's yearly Christmas present. Every year she gives her grandchildren a gift with the expectation that they do something for someone else with that gift. In this case, my gift to her is this donation. Well, how a lovely donation it is. Thank you very much. And if you get the bundle as well, even better. Thanks very much, Ian. Leper Smythe added $5 to their donation. High Rollers is my favorite faction of the Yogscast, which is odd considering my lack of successful tabletop RPG campaigns. I like how we're a faction of the Yogscast.
Yeah, I love that.
The High Rollers faction.
We need banners.
Roll out.
Roll out. Flintifus donated a hundo.
Hundo.
Better late than never. Hundo. Another great jingle jam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And then one just came in from Leo Krios, saying, after watching Aerois, I decided to use injuries as well, but I didn't like the table from the DMG. I found one on Reddit that I liked called Grit and Glory, based on building risk. Shut up, Tom. And worked with its author to make a modified version that worked more for me. Your risk is increased by conditions, hitting 0, massive damage, and then you roll on a table with 17 or more, giving an injury of an increased severity. You then have to roll to determine the approximate injury received based on the severity. Thankfully, playing Fantasy Grounds, I've been able to automate all the table rolling. The players seem to enjoy it because the injuries aren't always demolishing, like losing an eye, but the realistic risk is there. Well, the ones in Aerois aren't always demolishing either.
Yeah.
No.
We've just only ever had the bad one.
So, did you make your own custom one, or did you use one like Grit
Me?
and Glit and Glory?
Tom, fuck's sake. Oh my
One day I can't wait for you to GM Tom Hazel, and then every
shit.
time you fuck up a word, I'm gonna be like, oh ha ha ha! He said a funny word.
He said restaurant for no reason.
No, I took the one in the DMG and added stuff to it.
Okay.
I added a bunch of stuff to it, and then I added the rule of when you get down to 0, you have to make a con save and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there you go. So Rhiannon.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sweetheart. So you obviously were the newest member of High Rollers. We brought you in for the Aerois campaign. Ever since, well, first of all, how has it been?
Love it. It's great.
I love
I'm having a good time.
I love it.
I
You're
love
enjoying it, having a good time.
Oh, so good.
Do you feel that you're do you feel different from when you started to now? Do you feel like
Oh, yeah.
you've leveled up or grown?
Yeah, I've learned so much. Like,
Yeah.
it's only been like 6 months, but like, I feel like I've definitely like mellowed out a lot more. I've sort of like got more comfortable with myself, like playing a character, being more, what's the word?
Comfortable.
Comfortable with
RP.
RP.
Like being immersed.
And immersed,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, also, I know, I can't think of the
Should
word.
I just
I'm
answer the
really
question
tired.
for you?
But I can't think of the word. Improvisation.
Improvisation. That's the word to forget of all the words.
And this is my favorite thing of Rhiannon. When Rhiannon just loses it, it's the best. My favorite thing.
But it's just, I come from a world where everything is very scripted. Like in my day-to-day life, I'm very much sort of like, I know what I do. I'm sort of like almost automatous in the way I operate.
Like Truman Show.
So, yeah, kind of. Maybe. I'm in the Truman Show.
You
It's
feel like your
real.
life is very rigid and set, and
Yes.
you have your set schedule. And
Yeah,
stuff.
so coming into a world that's kind of very loose, being in an what?
Sorry.
What?
Sorry, someone posted a Laura Glenodal again.
For fuck's sake!
That's my favourite moment. That's my favourite moment in High Rollers 2018.
Elora Glenodal. It's all right, Rhiannon. You can do it. Ignore Tom. Why must you hate Tom?
It's not hate. And Laura Glenodal is the best thing. The best thing. Oh,
I can't read.
I wonder if I Google it.
So anyway.
Oh God. So yeah, it's nice just being in a very sort of relaxed, very sort of free environment.
So was
it's
you
nice.
quite nervous when we first started?
Oh,
when
yeah.
We first started streaming.
100%, because I knew that you guys had already established, a very good audience and, a very good following of people. And I was like, well, what if I fuck up? What if I do something wrong and everyone hates me? Or like, I know, but it's like, it's this thought.
There's obviously the nerves.
It's
And
always
I know
in
that.
your
I'll
mind.
talk about that about the Critical Role stuff, because I had the same thing there.
Yeah. And it's like, but like the community's been like the best. Like you guys have all been so
They love
unbelievably nice.
They
and,
love you.
like,
Yeah, do you have any
supportive.
messages for your hordes of fans? Because holy
Do you
crap.
have
I love all of you. Like you guys, I love all of you. You guys are like the best. Like whenever I've had any doubts about anything, like mentally, like I always come back to like what you guys have said, or like just
Do you
the High Rollers
do you
guys
do
in
the thing
general.
I do sometimes, which is whenever I'm feeling a bit meh, I just go and look at all the fan art,
Oh yeah.
and it's just like,
It's so nice, but also like being around like all you guys, being around Mark and Katie, Trot, Kim, like you guys are all so supportive and so
Tom.
just fucking nice.
Tom as well.
And Tom, hello Tomboy.
What the fuck?
You were just
No, carry
being
on,
mean
carry
to
on. I'm not being mean.
But like it's just like, the whole community is just incredible.
it's
and
really lovely.
it's such a nice place to be, and like being able to just piss around, play D&D for 3 hours on a Sunday. It's a fucking privilege and a joy, and I love
really
it
is.
every single time.
It's been amazing having you. You've definitely brought in. I think like Kim said, like you just bring in this like ray of sunshine. Like you always find everything so joyous and funny, and I think that does affect the table. Like because again, like everybody's got other stuff going on. We get stressed with stuff, and then you come in. Even before the stream, so like you guys won't ever see like what happens before the streams, but like I'll be there stressing with notes and like getting everything printed out and getting all my maps and stuff ready. And then Rhiannon will normally come in with like a bag of biscuits or crisps, and it's like, "Hello, everybody!" It's just always happy and bright and smiley, and it does make a big difference. It makes a huge difference. And that's been really appreciated. I've also personally appreciated the fact that you've really like obviously invested in learning like your abilities, like trying to learn the game and everything else like that. Really, I find that particularly rewarding, like the fact that you've come in and learned so much. But what have been your favorite moments from 2018 so far?
Oh man, let me consult my portable entertainment device, and I will have a look at my notes.
You make some little notes.
I made some little notes. So
Nice.
my top like favorite moment for me playing a sentry was Dwalenden.
Yes.
I think in Dwalenden I learned a lot about. I think I had some of my best RP in Dwalenden.
Yeah, for sure.
And I learned a lot about like Sentry as a character, what she stands for, how to play her, and like I just felt really comfortable with her for like the first time, and I was like, fuck yes, I love this. Let's do more of this.
Yeah.
Like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And it was one of those, I think that it worked really well because whilst there was obviously a lot there about Guardians and then Sentry can connect to that, it was also an opportunity for all the rest of the characters to kind of be involved as well. Like,
That's it,
with
yeah.
Lucius being able to like somehow connect with the Echo and, like Nova being interested in the Guardians technology and stuff like
That's
that.
it,
And Quill
yeah.
obviously knowing Sentry beforehand. It was a good way of everybody bringing together, but still keeping Sentry like the central figure in it as well.
It was
So-
really nice. It was a nice way for as a player's point of view as well. It was nice because it felt really like involved. And as a new player, it's nice to have that opportunity to like be like, this is my world, this is what we do, and this is part of my world. It just felt really nice and like really, just like
Yeah, it was your story. It was your time.
yeah, it was really cool.
That was the introduction to Find the Prime as well.
That was yeah.
Which we
that
still
was,
know
that
nothing
was
about.
crazy.
Hashtag Find the Prime.
Find the Prime.
Oh man, yeah. There's some shit for that coming up soon.
I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've so one of the things that I did is over the Christmas break is I sat down with everybody's backstory, everybody's kind of little character moments that we've had so far, and I've started kind of drafting up. Okay, where is this leading? What's the next steps? Because you guys are getting closer to main civilization now as well. You're like getting to the bigger towns, but into the bigger cities. The world is going to open up a lot more, and that's going to give you guys an opportunity to be like, well, I want to go and do this thing.
Yeah.
I want to go and find this thing out. And then there will need to be a little bit of the party saying, okay, let's go and do Sentry's thing, then we'll do my thing, then we'll do Quill's thing, then we'll do blah, blah, blah's thing.
Yeah.
But it's going to allow you guys to pursue different things. And so I've been kind of coming up with all the different ways that can happen and the different areas that might involve and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Prime stuff is pretty interesting.
I'm excited.
And also, a lot of that, none of us really know about. That's all
Mark
machinations.
stuff. That's it. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, normally what I do
can have that one.
It's normally stuff which you guys have written about but never expanded on, and then I just go in and I go and I expand it. And I, if there's ever anything where, like I've said this, I recently sent you guys an email saying, if there's ever anything that you're not comfortable with, or if there's something that you don't want to happen, let me know, and then I won't have it happen. Otherwise, it'll be nice and mysterious and a surprise.
I mean, I think you'll still react to how we react to it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
But it's really cool, like the way that you've like sort of intertwined our stories into the world you've built. Because I think as a DM's point, like for a DM, it must be really easy to just be like, well, this is my world. I've made this world, so you're going to do this way, and you're going to do this way. But
it's tricky. It's so like when we did the Lighfall campaign had a much more storyline.
Yes.
It actually had like, this is the villain and this is what they're doing and this is vaguely how I see things going. And then the guys would do stuff and like maybe it takes them off in a different direction than I expected and I have to kind of like draw a new line of how to get back to things. Whereas what I've done with Aerois is I've taken a much more Skyrim like approach to it, where it's like there are places and there are people and there are groups all doing things. And you guys happen to have, like, obviously I started off Aerois with you guys kind of interrupting one of those groups, the Remnant. That was like the first group that you kind of encountered and have had a conflict with. But now it's open. Now it's like, well, it just depends where you go and what you guys want to do and everything else. So
it's really cool.
So yeah, like Thomas, would you like to show us something? Is that what you're chuckling
What have you
about?
found?
I've just found something. Well, I say I found it. Game Guy found it.
It's not Glenodal.
So my favourite moment from 2018.
I've got the iPad in my hand.
So was this episode 1? I think it was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, no sound.
Was it not?
It might be because it's coming from your PC.
Is there sound?
I can hear it.
No, it is. I can hear it.
Oh, I can't hear it.
You hear it now?
No.
I can't hear it.
Oh.
I'm kind of glad that I can't hear it though.
Okay.
Sam's like, look,
Hello,
what are you doing wrong?
Well,
Oh, mate.
I can hear it. What?
We're messing with stuff, apparently.
Oh, shit.
Tut, tut, tut.
It's that Lewis Brindley or Tom Bates. There we go.
Okay.
Now I can hear it. Thanks, Sam. Sorry, just brace yourself. I have to go through this every time
I
somebody
bet-
posts
yeah.
Snapsnet.
Oh my God.
Or restaurant.
Pixie MLG Gamer donated $10 and said, but sad isn't the right word because it didn't really go anywhere. It changed. We will no longer see Juto Zijing, Laura Glenodal, Ali, oh my goodness, these names, Cam Buckland and Reynard.
Those are old
The two that you can
She
read.
can. She can.
Oh,
You know
Rory.
Yeah.
You mean Tom Hazel. He's loving it. Don't play it again. Pause it.
These names, Cam Buckland
Stop
and
it.
Reynard.
Those are old
The two that you can read.
Yeah.
Laura Glenodal. God damn it.
Oh, God, it was the best.
Anyway, moving on to something. So, with Sentry going into 2019, do you have any hopes, any goals for Sentry? Any cool thing? It can be something particularly petty and minor, like I want a cool magic sword, or it can be I want to find Solvin, or I want to do this cool thing. I want a boyfriend. I want a girlfriend. It can be any of those things. Stop it!
No, okay, I'm closing it. I'm closing it.
Fuck's sake.
Let Rhiannon answer my question.
It will never die. As long as Tom Hazel is here, Glenodal never dies.
Oh, my
I
God.
just need to find something embarrassing that he's done. Or
Yeah, there's
the problem
plenty.
is he's not really. Not like
There
an
probably
snack
is.
or restaurant or a noodle.
What's the context of that? It was a donation.
Don't know.
She
I tried to read.
read Alora Galanadel for the very first time.
It was Rhiannon
I read it
missaid.
as I saw it.
Yeah, missaid Katie's old character name, which is a silly elf name anyway. Right.
But yeah. In regards to Sentry, I'll have a look at my notes again.
Yep.
So I think as like from a playing aspect, I want her to Tom.
Do you need to leave?
No, carry on. Just carry on. I'll just.
If we say it enough, he'll get tired of it.
No, I won't.
Glenodal.
No.
Trust me.
won't.
After
I
the
won't.
no, we won't.
It's staying.
Let him have his vape. He's gonna have his vape.
Carry on.
Lol. In terms of like playing Sentry, like I want her to find more of a like human side. I feel like at the moment she's very much sort of a she's sort of playing to her more like servant side, her more like
Service, like
Yeah,
fulfilling a duty.
fulfilling a duty kind of thing. Yeah. So I want her to be able to like act out on her own more, be confident with like decision making, and you know
Nice.
want to be like, hey, I've come up with this idea.
Come up
let's
with a
do
more of a
this."
leadership role
That's
and stuff.
it,
And take the lead more.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's a good role to have.
And also like obviously like finding the prime and stuff. I want to get into the meat and bones of this and really like, because that golden guardian in the sky is
Yeah,
pretty
that vision
freaking
that you saw,
cool.
yeah.
And I want to get into that more.
Cool. Yeah.
Super excited.
Nice.
Me too, actually.
2019 is going to be so good.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know for Sentry. A couple of questions. So Sam asked, if you could play a character that wasn't your own, whose would you play in Aerois?
Really good. In Aerois.
Thomas? You have a problem, dude. He keeps seeing it in chat. That's why.
No, when you said, when do you want to play a character, I was just immediately, I want to play a Laura Glenodal.
In Aerois, what other character would you want to play?
Other than, main character? Or Player characters.
Player characters. If you had to play somebody else's player character.
I want to play Sentry.
Yeah?
Yeah?
You think Sentry's...
Yeah, because holy shit, how satisfying must it be to launch a guy down the stairs with an axe? That was like
So
the first thing you
satisfying.
did as well.
Yeah.
Like max damage, divine smite.
Yeah, the first thing you did
Oh,
was
like
like
a
natural 20,
thundering
maximum
smite.
damage. Oh, and launch the guy with Thunder. That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's really fun
Okay.
to play.
What about you, Ree?
Man, I think Lucius is really fun.
Yeah.
I think
You could see yourself
I could
playing
see
Lucius.
myself playing Lucius.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark? If you weren't DMing.
I think Sentry.
Yeah?
As well. I think Sentry's got the story that I would be like super interested in playing. I love paladins; they're pretty damn cool, and I always like constructs and Warforged. So, yeah,
Ooh.
for sure.
Nice.
Nice. Erin said. So Erin said that one of her fave scenes from 2018, Tom Hazel.
Sorry.
You need to calm yourself.
I'm not a Ganoodle.
Fucking gnomed. We got gnome. We got gnodled.
That's really good. That's
For fuck's sake. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
To interrupt that last one.
Yep, sure.
If you weren't DMing and you made a character for Aerois,
Ooh,
what would you make?
Oh,
that's
man.
a really good
To
question.
join the current cast.
So, I think that I probably would have played. In all fairness, I probably would have played Sana as a player character. So the bunny lady beast walker.
Yeah.
But probably would have made her as a slightly different type of character. I probably would have made her as a gunslinger, a fighter
Oh,
gunslinger.
cool.
Wow.
So bunny lady gunslinger.
Kicking
That's
guns.
really cool.
Yeah. But I think also like there's a bunch of stuff like that we've not really been able to explore. Like you guys haven't really met any Ember Elves in the main campaign yet, and I think
Yeah,
that they're a
they're
really cool
cool.
race. But also just like because quite a lot of the races are very different as well. So being able to play like tell you what would be cool. Because none of you guys expressed interest in playing this race, so I never gave you the information on it. But the Yuan T I've got are particularly cool because they are connected to the Remnant and the Starbane, but they've also kind of tried to separate themselves and say we're going to make our own society now.
Yeah.
Like we're here, we're going to build our own empire. We're going to, we're no longer serving them because we're trapped here.
Yeah.
And that obviously leads to a lot of like, are they good guys? Are they bad guys? Like, where do they draw the line? Because obviously they're snake people. They've got quite a lot of
That's
evil
really
abilities
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So that could be a cool one to play as well.
Wow.
So there you
Man.
Awesome.
Cool.
go.
What a great question.
Thanks, Tom Hazel.
Sorry, carry on.
Erin said that her favourite scene was actually the quiet moment with Lucius, Quill, and Valor in Rose Hall, sat on
Yes.
the wall, knowing about each
I
other.
really like that.
Oh,
That was a
that's,
really
that's
nice
really
scene.
sweet.
I think that was the
yeah.
first moment where Quill and Lucius probably had like a talk as well, because prior to that it was just surviving. It was like a moment when we'd finally settled down in Rose Hall and we were able to just stop and just say, right,
Wow.
what's actually happening here?
Yeah.
And I think that cemented Quill and Lucius as friends as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think like so far, I think like obviously Quill and Sentry are friends because you guys knew each other. But I would say that out of everybody, Quill and Lucius have probably become the closest out of like the other group.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Like I know that Nova's very motherly in the same sense that Sentry is as well. But I know how much Quill worries about Lucius and Lucius worries about Quill as well.
Because you're both the kind of the Shaggy and Scooby of the gang.
Yeah, and also I know how much Lucius doesn't want another situation like Quill's Eye again.
Yeah.
And how much that affected Lucius as a character.
Yeah.
Through me.
Some good RP from Chris Trott here. Pumpcan has an excellent question here.
Oh, go for it.
She said NPC boink, by which she means fuck, marry or kill. And it's between Arvel, Finny, and Saito. Now, Finny and Saito, for Rhiannon's benefit, Finny is a halfling bartender that the party met.
Nice.
And Saito was a charming tiefling thief.
Could we, for Rhiannon's benefit, change it to
Well-
Arvel, to Aerois character?
I'll switch it to Eros characters. You answer Arvel, Finny, or Saito. Fuck, marry, kill.
I don't think I really met Finny. Was Reynard?
Did you know?
No, he ran the tavern, Finny's tavern.
Yeah.
And I was there a couple of times.
became,
but
like,
I
a
don't think
council
he was
member.
like he became a council member. Yeah, but
True. I don't suppose you didn't have the same connection to him as the rest of the
yeah,
characters.
like I went to the tavern, and that's about as
Yeah.
much as I knew of Finny.
Okay. All right, well, let's change it to Aurora's characters then. So, Arvel, I'm trying to think who else has become...
But fuck Saito.
yeah, is that definite?
Yeah.
Marry Arvel, maybe.
Yeah, marry Arvel. Like he's got money.
He has got money.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of money.
Okay, well, if we'll keep it... So, Arvel, I'm trying to think of two others who aren't... that we can reliably use.
Arvel,
Sana?
Sana, and Rose Hall.
Oh, the bartender.
Rosalina?
Rosalina.
Oh, that's really hard.
Fuck, marry, kill, Arvel, Sana.
Oh no, that's really hard.
That's a tough one.
I know how much you loved Rosalina.
I loved
We
her
all
so
loved her, yeah.
much.
Like oh god, I remember how relieving it was getting to Rose Hall after the Bitterwood because there was just
You guys
it
were
was
just
gruesome.
like, oh, survival is hard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
gruesome. It was horrible. It was such a slog. Not to watch, obviously. It was all gold. But then we got to Rose Hall, and it was like just comfortable, and we could just sit down and stop and just not worry about
This nice halfling
time
lady. It's like,
against us.
do you want food or I can
Yeah,
get you
and Rosalina was just such a delight. It was
She
the
was
best.
so nice.
Yeah.
I really loved it.
What I really loved is quite a lot of people in chat picked up on the fact that, like, she offered these like adult services, but it wasn't like a big deal. It was
Yeah.
just like, here is a thing that if you want, you can have. And it's a shame we never got into the background of it because, and maybe you will go back, but Rosalina comes from a Sky City where that is completely normal.
Yeah.
Like, it's just seen as a service, like going to a pub for a drink or going to a restaurant. Like, people have needs, and some people need to get that fulfilled by professionals.
Yeah.
And so they're all looked after and protected, and it's all very kind of positively done. And so when she comes down to the lowlands, she's just like, well, these people need that service as well, and so she provides that. And it's not just like, you know, sex and adult services, it's also therapy. Like, there was
Yeah.
also just like speaking to somebody and stuff like that. And I had a lot of people like message me and say, thank you for having that representation, because that's not really something that ever gets shown. And there's no
Yeah.
reason that in a magical fantasy world where you can have wizards and enchanters and everything else, that kind of business would necessarily be still kind of looked down upon.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to have this. So that was quite cool.
It's
I
really
thought. It was a
cool.
nice little. I'm glad that people picked up on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, answer my question. Fuck, marry, kill, Arvel, Sana, Rosalina.
I think Arvel's dead. I love Arvel. I love him so much.
He's led a good life.
He's had a good life, but
So dead.
dead Arvel. I reckon we'd have a good fight as well, though.
Yeah.
It'd be good. And then I would marry Rosalina,
Marry Rosalina.
and then boink
Boink Sana.
Sana.
I like how Pumpkin put boink.
Yeah, I
Very
think
sweet.
it's gonna have to be the same.
Same.
Sorry, Arvel.
Sorry, Arvel. That's all right. Frank.
I understand it's Rosalina and Sana.
Yeah.
Come on.
Can we
Des
res Arvel?
Neko Sounds asked, is there any lore you could give us about the world of Aerois that won't be too spoilery for later episodes? I mean, it's quite tricky because I don't know where the guys are going to go. Obviously, so one thing I have just done is I finished writing up all of the gods. So every single one of the, what they call the Starborn Pantheon, which is Siaska's children.
Cool.
I've now written up all of their like religious entries, so they all have tenets, they all have stuff. I think one of the cool things that isn't going to be too spoilery because we're going to see it quite early on is the town that your guys are heading towards called Cayley's Rest is going to be the first big proper city town you've been to. And in there is a temple to all of the gods. And so there will be an opportunity for everybody to kind of get to meet a little bit about that world, like the religious world. But you're also going to learn that whilst the Starborn gods are generally seen as quite good, that doesn't always mean that they're worshipped in a good way. Like, there are cults and there are sects that can split off and might have very extreme views, for example, on certain traditions. So it's going to be cool kind of giving that side to it.
That's cool.
Any time I get to dip into, like, the more sci-fi stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's one thing, so I've written this in the tenets of Palador, like the god of the sun and light and this kind of blazing, and he's always depicted as this blazing on fire humanoid that flies around Aerois providing light and warmth, and is basically the sun.
Yeah.
But there is, and I wrote this into the things, there is ancient rumor or ancient text which suggests that it's not actually Palador himself flying around the world, but a ship or a device of his creation that does it and flies around and is protecting Aerois as well.
That's cool.
Which I thought was quite cool. So, some more sci-fi stuff. Yeah, Neo and Smoked asked me how badly did I want Elora to go unconscious. I mean, it's fine. I felt like we still had tension. So there you go.
Cool.
Oh, Austin asked to see if there was a map of Aerois, which I do have, but I forgot to give it to Sam. So I'll post that on Twitter or something.
Yeah, we do have one. Well, I've got what you put together and basically gave to me and said, right, this is your map now.
Yeah, you've got
write
the
it
actual
up.
paper map, haven't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
So
But
at
no,
some
I've
point
got
I
like
need
a
to
proper map.
Fill that in.
Yeah,
Actually,
but-
I think what I've got is complete.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
To what Quill's explored, yeah. Although we should probably go on there and put some things that Quill knows about from his life as a messenger.
Yeah, okay.
So we can do that. So Trot wrote me some answers for his favorite moments and stuff. He begins with, what was your favorite moment in 2018 from High Rollers? And he starts with, as the best player and character in the game, my favorite moments have to be. So he said, discovering the faulty blacksmith guardian in the chasm. I love the gradual reveal of lore behind Sentry's kind, and also discovering my abilities to connect with Echo.
Aw, sweet.
Also thoroughly enjoyed dungeon diving in Old Dwarven Ruins, our first taste of a historically drenched and ancient world.
Cool.
The cow episode, having Mark just let loose and reduce himself to our immature level for a bit and winging a hilarious encounter. In fact, I can play that scene.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Bring on the cows.
Bring on the cows.
Let's do it.
Lucius, give me a perception check.
Christ, what's my hair that episode?
It's looking very slick.
19.
19.
Okay.
I was about to
Ayla, substituting on
I
what?
had a really shit day at work just before this
13.
stream, and
That's
this,
not
this just
Lucius.
made my day. This was like the highlight
First part
of
of
my
the
day.
evening, as everyone rests. The hills are quiet. The night air is cold. You have to wrap yourself up in a cloak to keep the chill from getting
Did
through
you
to your
guys actually
bones.
think an encounter was coming?
No, I had
Around
no
The
idea.
second hour
I was like,
of
what
your
is this?
watch is when you begin to hear the noises. It's a strange noise, one you've never heard before. A kind of distorted moan, and almost like the jangling of chains or bells. Growing
Like,
closer
Tom,
and
I was
closer
genuinely at this
over
point.
the-
You were
over
like,
the hill.
fuck.
Uptime, everybody, uptime! Uptime, everybody, up!
So you hear this kind of like up noise.
All right, what is it this
But
time?
you
my eyes
hear-
just take a long time to just light up. They're just like,
And you hear another sort of a shuffling of bodies, like large creatures moving. You hear that? Ayla and Quill, give me nature checks.
Nature checks. Not perception?
This is when I'm losing it, because I know I can't hold it in.
13.
So Ayla, so Lucius, what did you've woken everybody up.
We're about to be attacked
By what?
by a zombie with chains on its head.
And then you hear this noise that Lucian heard during his watch.
Lucius.
Gling, 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 gling.
You're here, it's gonna kill us.
I'm going to kill you.
Don't do that. Kill that first.
It does
What, the
sound
cow?
really aggressive.
Wait, no, what? It's not a cow, is it?
Lucius.
What's the cow?
Lucius.
Yeah, you've never seen a cow before.
I mean, cows are fairly aggressive.
Well, then let's let's assume our fighting stance is to destroy it before it gets to jump on us. I know it's probably mindless.
I'm going back to sleep. You are an idiot.
You can take it on your own.
Yep.
Good night.
Go milk it. I could do it.
I like your optimism in my abilities in combat.
Attack.
This was because of you.
Yeah.
This is because of you.
You did tell him to go play.
Just for all of you. You can do it, Lucius.
Thank you.
Bardic inspiration.
Feel a renewed vigor. I'm still exhausted. I'm gonna go out.
You sneak up. You can try and sneak up on
gonna
the
sneak.
beast.
I'm gonna
Okay,
try and
stealth check.
Is he actually killing the cow?
Hang on, here's your Bardic inspiration.
He doesn't know what it is.
18.
Oh, 18. You stealth up grassy hill, laying yourself flat.
can
You
do
peer over.
Make your daddy
You
proud.
see 3 of these creatures. They are as long as a horse, but shorter and stouter, covered in a strange black and white pattern.
I see
With
Asgard.
horns. They wear bells around their necks, strange bells around their necks. As they munch on the grass, 2 of them appear to be laying down now.
Is this really? As Kim, I'm saying this. I am listening to
feel
Mark,
exactly the same.
amazing DM, who has DM'd us for 2 years, describe a cow.
To Lucius.
Lucius doesn't know what a cow is. He lives up in the Sky Cities. They don't have cows. He's never been to the lowlands before.
I can't
Carry on.
wait until they down him.
Carry on.
They probably will. One shot.
The one that's still
stampede.
standing looms down to the grass. Bites into some grass. Starts chewing on grass.
Satanic creature. Gonna fling an ice knife at it.
Oh, God.
my
We're going to get attacked by farmers.
Okay, range attack roll.
9 plus 5.
It just gets
14.
better.
I believe that will hit a cow.
What's
I have
the
any
cow's
stats?
stats?
I don't think I have a stat for a
Like
cow.
2 HP.
Probably like very low.
Oh, it
Yeah,
must
we'll
have
make
more than
something
2
up.
HP, right?
3.
Oh no, a cow would have more than 2 HP. Cow's a big tough thing.
3 on that cow, and then it explodes.
We're actually running a combat.
Technically,
Actually running
Then
Do
8.
He would have had advantage. You would have had you hit anyway. Actually, when we're talking.
Yeah, yeah. So 3 on the first cow, then 8 damage to all of them.
Check that you don't get a natural 20
But
to hit the cow.
Well, actually, goat. Okay, we're going to use a goat stats, but we'll add a few more bits.
Go doubled.
Yeah, goat. Yeah.
Can you do a dex saving throw for the cow?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. Dex saving throw. We'll give it a
Can you make
minus
a dex
1.
saving
Oh,
throw for the
8
cows?
fails.
What a
It hits
statement.
all of them though, right?
Yeah, so that's 8 cold for them all and 3 for the main one.
One of the cows rolls out the way. As it passed the scene. It rolled an 18 minus 1 is 17. It rolls out the way.
Oh my lord!
You know what?
So, Danny! How much piercing damage to the first one?
I'm leaving.
How much piercing damage to the first one?
Everyone will just leave these
Piercing damage to
two.
the first one. So it gets hit, you hear this as the blade pierces into the cow's hide, then it explodes for the cold damage.
8.
Oh, the first cow is dead. It's just covered in ice.
God's sake.
Falls to the ground, ice. The other two are still alive.
I couldn't believe we were still doing this.
16.
You go again. What do you like? These two other creatures.
That's pretty much the gist of the joke.
Amazing.
It's very funny. That's very
That's great.
Unbelievable.
So Trot continues with his favourite moments. When we finally returned with enough funds to fix Arvel's leg, the whole scene introducing us to a religious character that genuinely healed Arvel. Trot said he liked. He says Blackthorn, but I believe he means Brookstone Saga here.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Brookstone Saga, being invited to their home and the tragic result of doing so.
God.
Our first real dramatic turn that added a lot of gravitas to our quest. Quillek giving the horde of Brookstone supporters a firm demand. Loved it. Broadened his character. Also him losing an eye, lul.
Oh, wow, cool.
Was the thing.
No.
We'll talk a bit about Brookstones in a second. I actually have a clip for it as well. The entire haunted house part, the honourable fallen knight of Siaska, the creepy atmosphere, the slow unravelling of goings on, a touch of planar with the paintings, and finally, most unexpectedly, Lucius being mistaken for the ghost beloved with a daring escape. An awesome backstory that fills the world with a rich history that has ongoing consequences and effects. And then discovering the first fallen ship of the Court of Shadows, how it started as a strange green glow, and things slowly unravelled in Ironwick. Also getting a badass, unique item that I'm yet to experience. So that was the last
next
thing.
week.
So Brookstones, man,
Oh,
that
God.
whole
I knew.
thing.
I have a good feeling about that guy.
Because right from the start, you were like, I don't trust this guy. I'm gonna get in his face. I don't want to like him. I don't like him whatsoever.
I believed him.
And then he genuinely was like, no, I believe him. I think.
I mean, I understood all the evidence against him, but when we first met him, he was so genuine that he actually convinced me, or you convinced
Quill.
Me,
something
Tom,
like
that. Someone convinced someone, and it was me being convinced or Quill being convinced.
And did you think it was just like, he probably is a bit of an asshole, but he's not an asshole like everybody's making him out to be?
I mean, I thought that it was because he was explaining it as his workers were doing these things, and I didn't want to blame him for something that was
out of his
while it was in his control to like curb down on that behavior. He said he would. And that was it. Like, he kind of admitted to it and said, yes, this has happened. I'll do what I can to stop it. And I was like, cool. Nice. What a great guy. Yeah. What a real great guy.
And then he invited you to dinner.
And he invited me to dinner, and it was a great time. We all had a lovely
dinner.
meal. Lovely meal. Met their kids, who were great kids.
Great kids.
His wife. Really
lovely
nice.
Wife.
Great dinner.
And then you get back.
And then...
it's awful.
And then the worst thing happens. The worst possible thing happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was another moment for me where I'd been sat on it while you've been spending time in Rose Hall, and I've got so I have a sheet that's just for me where I track the days, so how long you've been in a place, and then I track okay, this person would have received this message at this day, and it would take this long to receive it.
Oh, cool.
And I was planning stuff out, and I'm like. And then when you guys first arrived in Rose Hall and you said at the gate, oh yeah, our airship crashed, we've just come here, blah, 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 all the little dots connected up. And I was like, this is the natural kind of where this would lead.
Yeah.
And I was just sat there. And when I invited you, and it was the next episode, I was like, you guys are going to go to Brett Brookstone's dinner. And you were like, yeah, let's go to the dinner. I was like, okay.
Just leave those two behind, will you?
Yeah.
And that was the thing, and it became so close because Arvel almost got left behind.
Yeah.
You almost stayed behind.
I
I think you even said should I stay?
Yeah.
No, I'll go, because you were like, I want to protect them if something happened to them at the dinner.
Yeah.
Wait, if we left Arvel behind?
Yeah.
Really?
Arvel nearly didn't come with you.
But if he didn't come with us?
If he didn't come with you, he would have been there when the Goliath attacked.
Yeah.
And probably would have got killed as well. Arvel has more hit
Yeah.
points than the others, or he would have been injured at least, badly injured. Who knows what could have happened?
Oh, I would have been so salty if we spent all that time getting his leg fixed.
Yeah, mate.
He was
but then
so hard
also,
to fight. Like,
well, that was
Sentry
it.
could have
Like, he
died.
was a really tough encounter. Like, because
Yeah, Arvel on his own, he would have died. Because ultimately on his own, like the other two.
Well, so I played out. That whole affair. So spoilers, if you've not seen it, in this particular episode, an assassin. We'll use the term assassin. A fighter was hired to kidnap an NPC, and the party, that NPC was left with her 2 caretakers, and the rest of the crew went to this dinner. And it was all planned that this bad guy was luring the party away so his guy could go and kidnap this girl. But what I did is I played it out as a full combat. So I just had the stats of everybody, and I was just like, right, he sneaks in, roll it for this guy, and I just rolled all the attacks, I rolled all the damage, and then I had like checks for like the guards of like, do they notice anything? Nope. Do they notice anything? Nope. And I would increase the DC as like more shouting and stuff went, but just nothing ever like happened to it, and he killed the NPC so quickly that really it was just like, and he gets away. Like, now if Arvel or Sentry had been there, yes, it's likely you might have like been taken out because the amount of damage against you would have been quite high. But there's also a higher risk that like some of the other NPCs might have survived, or they could have gone and gotten help, and it would have become more of a chase.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to go get this guy now. He's just left. Whereas what it became was a bit more of a sort of like figure out what's happened, and then we're going to go after them. And it was really cool. That was really fun for me to GM.
That's what D&D's all about, though, isn't it? It's like the
All
consequences.
the
of how you
consequences
deal with
and
it.
just the unseen things, like the dice rolls and stuff
That's
like
it,
that.
yeah.
Like, it falls so much on that stuff, which I thought was really, really
It's
cool.
awesome.
Also, Quill lost a lot of chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
happened.
pissed by that.
I
was it because you feel like Quill is quite protective of Valor, and so like them taking Valor and like threatening
Yeah,
Valor?
so that was after the chat on the wall as well.
Yeah.
Where Quill and Lucius.
Yeah, that was unexpected,
Yeah.
right? Because I didn't know you guys were going to do that. But I knew what was coming later that evening. So, like, you guys having this really meaningful talk with Valor, I was like, oh, man. This is setting it up super good.
That was us basically saying that,
hey, we're going to
the
look
two
after you, kid.
least likely people, or the two, I guess, they consider themselves, I guess, like Lucius and Quill consider themselves to be the weakest on the team, to say that they'll do what they can to protect Vala. And then that happens later on, like, holy shit.
And to think, in the two that got injured whilst trying to save her as well, Lucius and Quill.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Pretty cool, eh?
It was awesome.
So Trot has written up his hopes and goals for Aerois. He says, as the best player and character in the game, I have ambitious hopes and goals. I'm looking forward to entering Gold Throne properly. Lucius is extremely excited for the sorcery battles. I hope he experiences them, but also faces some challenges, both external and internal. There's a ton to unravel about Lucius's past. He keeps things relatively jovial and respectful when mentioning his family, but not everything is pristine and perfect in the Elenasto household.
Oh, I love that.
I'm looking forward to expanding Lucius and growing along with him. I feel he's already gained a far better understanding of the way of things, experiencing life-changing events that shape his outlook. He began as a naively positive, if narrow-minded man. Reality is chipping away at that from seeing the consequences of rash decisions that he cannot act the way that he's always done in the past. I'm also keen to expand his relationships with the party and joining them on their personal stories and seeing how that will affect Lucius and their bond. Lucius' ultimate goal is to reunite with his family and Daddy. At first, he wanted to be rescued. Is that the same now, though? Either way, he cannot wait to tell them of all the incredible things he's experienced and overcome.
Wow.
Boy, howdy.
Wow.
I'm personally very excited
Yes.
to reveal the goings-on with the Elenasto family.
I'm looking forward to meeting the household.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, again, Trot has given me a lot of information to work with. He's come up with, like he's actually, this is my father, this is their name, this is what they're like, da-da-da-da. But then he's also said to me, if you want to change stuff, if you want to kind of, like, add in things that Lucius doesn't know about them, like stuff that he wouldn't know about, go ahead, you have free reign to come up with stuff. So that's really fun for me as a GM, getting to play around with something like that, where he's already got quite a lot of detail, but I can mess around with it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's always the approach that we have, is that here's the character we've written. You're a better writer than us, so fix it.
Not always. I think it's one of those things where it's I'm quite good at, if you give me something, it's much easier for me to work with and to create stuff for you. And then occasionally I just have like these little moments of inspiration of like, oh, this would be really cool. Like Aerois, the whole Winterspire arc in the first campaign, with the werewolves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was, I just came up with that based on a random idea I had, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really like this idea.
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of the other stuff was like, you know, the whole Cam arc was based on what he'd given me and stuff like that, and then I just added to it. So it was always cool to do. What I do asked, arm wrestling between characters, who wins?
Ayla.
I think Ayla and Sentry, because they're about the same strength now. So I think that, you know, that's a pretty
What
even
is
fight.
Sentry's strength?
18 now, because she leveled up.
Shit, so Ayla's...
I think Ayla's 18.
Damn.
So I think they're both the
I
same
guess
now.
it's in a constitution battle.
So so I guess it comes down to, so character-wise, you think those two, but out of the rest of you, do you think Quill could beat the others with his one arm?
Left-handed? No.
No.
No. It's not even his... That's his... he's right-handed.
He's right, so he's not even got
Oh,
his
no, wait. His left hand is gone.
Quill and Vala.
Yeah, his left hand is gone.
Yeah.
So, Quill and Vala. Vala.
Lucius, as we found out, Lucius is quite a strong boy.
He's very strong.
He's not very strong. He's a bit athletic. He's got something there. Nova is incredibly weak.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
I think Nova and Quill would have a.
I think you'd beat. I think
battle.
you'd beat Nova.
Yeah.
One-armed or not, I think you'd beat it. But then they also asked who would win between the players. And my money is 100% on Rhiannon and Trot. That would be the winners of that. Because you're a buff gym lady.
Buff gym lady.
Buff gym lady. And Chris Trot is obviously very gym boy.
I haven't worked out for like 2 months though.
I bet you're still stronger than
I'm putting on
most
my
of us.
winter layers at the moment.
Yeah.
Via cheese.
Oh wait, in real life.
In real life,
who would win? I'd lose.
Do you think you could beat me?
No.
No.
I wouldn't beat Kim. I wouldn't beat Katie.
I think Kim would be actually
Kim and
deceptively
Katie,
strong.
I reckon, are probably pretty strong. I can imagine.
I think I could beat Katie.
I think
I can take Katie in an arm wrestle.
I
don't know about Kim.
I don't think Kim in a fight would have any limits. I think she would just do whatever she need to do to win.
Just like cheat, like 2 hands.
Yeah.
Well,
kicking you under the table.
I mean, like she'd gouge her eyes out or something.
Oh, I
like
see.
She's
Okay.
mental.
Nice. She's mental. Wow. Cool. Well, that's it from all of you guys. I guess.
I've got some Discord stuff.
Discord stuff. Yeah, sure. Let's go for it, and then I'll talk about.
So Kirsten Salumi said the cows was her favourite moment.
Yep. Very well loved.
How long till Quill dies of old age? He's 3, so
he's got
a while.
27 years or so.
Well, 27 years until like
good.
the actual top end, but yeah, he's got a long time, or a day if he meets a ghost. You're stuck in a desert island with one NPC from Aerois or Lightfall. Who do you choose?
Rosalina.
Yeah, I mean Rosalina. I think.
Yeah.
I love her.
Even for you, not Grunker.
A good point. Oh, so is it?
Said Lightfall or Aerois.
If I'm stuck on a desert island.
Oh, that's true. I wonder. Yeah.
I think if I was stuck on a desert island, if Tom was stuck, Rosalina.
Yep.
Yeah.
She'd look after you.
Then Zim Zam Zambalan.
You do not want to be on a desert
No, that's
island
true.
with Zim Zam
But he's got the portable tent thing.
Ooh, don't trust me. No. Don't want to be on that guy's island.
Let's be real.
He's great.
Who's going to be the first to die?
That is a question. I was thinking about this today.
Fuck.
I was literally
That's
thinking
heavy.
about this on my way into the office.
So, if we think about the closest we've ever come, so on the same fight, me
Lucius
and
got pretty
Lucius
close.
were downed and got injuries. I lost an
Yes.
eye, he got
And
broken
death
leg.
saving throws.
You like
And
broke
death
a
saving
leg.
throws.
Yeah.
In the ghost fight, I think a lot of people overlooked it. Lucius was extremely close to dying. He went down to 4 maximum HP. Quill, in the same fight, went down to 3 maximum HP. And so we were both very close to dying in exactly the same situation. So I think it's got to be between one of those two.
I think based on pure mechanics, looking at the pure numbers, Lucius is the most at risk. He has very low hit points. He doesn't have a very good AC. And he is often closer to the danger than he would like.
Yeah.
Or the melee fighters are too far away from him to protect him.
Yeah.
So often that is a big risk.
I just
I
stay
think
sentry.
Quill, you have healing, so if nothing else, you've got that kind of as a backup, as a last-minute backup. Nova has a very good constitution. She's very poor in melee, but with her cantrips and stuff, she can hold her own. But she has a lot of hit points. Sentry, amazing AC, which means that you'll not hit as often, which means you have much more survivability.
And healing.
And healing with Lay on Hands.
Yeah.
And then Ayla, Barbarian Rage, means that she's resistant to most damage. So she basically has double her amount of hit points for most things. So, and she's got tons. So I think Ayla is very much like Aerois, is going to be very hard to kill.
Yeah.
I think Sentry is going to be the same thing where... But the risk that the two of you have is you are in melee.
Yeah.
So you are much more likely to be hit multiple times. With Sentry, I know you've gotten down quite low on hit points before because things just target you. Because especially with protection, you make yourself a target so that people are like, we need to kill the robot first because the robot is protecting everybody else, and then we'll move on to the other targets. But I think Lucius, because the thing is things like when you get to like enemies casting fireballs at you, one fireball can put Lucius out.
Yeah.
He can just put him on 0 hit points. And then that's it, you're at risk then.
Yeah, and also, if we look at the stats, thanks to High Roller Stats, my favourite page.
High Roller Stats, yeah.
Did you know that Kim made her first successful death save very recently?
Really?
Of the entire
She's never
campaign,
made one.
she only has passed one, and that was very recently.
Damn.
And there's so many good stats on there.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've rolled the most natural 20s on death saves, things like that.
Yeah.
I love that page. There's so many good stats
So
on
much
there.
good stuff.
I think they're adding...
You do roll a lot of nat 20s on death saving
I do.
throws.
I think there was a
That's
question
that's
somewhere.
what kind of saved you in the Goliath fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you were like
yeah.
unconscious on one underneath him, and you were like,
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah, that was so
I rolled a
cool.
natural 20 on that one as well. I think I natural 20'd a death save against the dragon in Lightfall as well.
I believe you did.
Um,
Yeah, because it had you
yes.
in its mouth. It was,
Oh my God.
threatening you.
That was
close.
I almost died. That was it. It was the worst moment in High Rollers. I
Because the thing is
I almost cried.
The situation, Rhiannon, is this dragon had him. He was unconscious or on 1 HP, but this dragon had him in its mouth and was basically telling the party, if you come fucking after me, I will crunch him and swallow him, and he'll die.
Jesus
And
Christ.
they basically had to let this dragon go.
Yeah.
It got up and it flew away, and it just carried him in his mouth, and basically, and it was a dragon, so it did keep to its word. It was like,
Yeah.
and it put him down. But if they had done anything, it would have just gone crunch, swallow, and then he would have taken damage inside of its stomach and melted away.
And I'd be inside the stomach, so I couldn't be
Crazy.
rezzed either.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah,
Right.
there's that. But yes,
Anything
I think I just roll either
roll well.
very, very badly or very, very well. I don't think I ever roll middle ground.
Yeah.
So I think I'd survive a death save
Yeah.
easily. So Lucius is dead. That's the.
Anything else from Discord?
Yeah, it's quite a lot actually. Who's first to die? Do you have backup characters planned for?
That's a good question. You don't?
Uh,
No ideas?
No ideas yet.
I started
Apart
coming
from
up
you
with.
go with Rogue. 'Cause
Yes.
You enjoy playing that one. Okay.
Yeah, I started coming up with something after the Goliath fight because I realised how close I got, and it was just like, I should probably start thinking about this. So I've got
Yeah.
some ideas. There's nothing.
Anything you want to talk
cemented.
about? I'd like to hear it.
I mean, I've got nothing like cemented.
detail.
I think I've got like 4 ideas, and none of them are good. Like I just need to think
Yeah.
of one and just stick with that one.
Well, I think as well, like it'll be more interesting because now I've written a bit more about the Aerois world. Like I've got more factions and stuff that you guys might want to belong to or like be connected to and stuff like that as well. Like you got to meet the paladin of the Blackened Rose.
He was cool.
Like that's a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
faction
So
and
fucking
stuff like
cool.
that. So there's there. Cool. Anything else, Tom?
One of my favourite moments is warm plates for Sentry.
Yeah.
People love warm
that
plates.
Was, that was a good moment. I like that moment.
It was just so unexpected. I
Yeah.
think everybody was just like, "Would you like some food?" And you're like, "I just want a warm plate to hold to my face."
Yeah.
And it was so sweet and so innocent. I think people loved that.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. That
Yeah.
was a nice little moment.
What is there a reason? Is it just the sensation? She just likes
Sensation of warmth.
she
I
just
think.
likes the sensation of feeling
Yeah,
warm.
she just
Oh,
likes it.
sweet.
She's like,
I think this is only relevant to me. For those of you who went to from spell-reliant classes to weapon-reliant classes, or vice versa, do you miss them? So I guess for me, it's from Reynard, who was heavy bow focus, and just every turn was just shoot, shoot, reload every now and then.
Yeah,
do
maybe
it-
Hunter's Mark.
Do it in a
maybe-
cool way.
Yeah.
Whereas Quill has a lot more things he can do on every turn. Like he can.
But also things outside of combat he can do now as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I miss it because it was just that much damage. It was so much damage, but I like having as much versatility, like the ability to just say, "I'm not going to attack on this turn. I'm going to make everyone passive."
Yeah. That Calm Emotions was clutch.
Calm Motions, that's the one.
Yeah, but also you can still get the damage. Guiding Bolt and Magic Missile.
Guiding Bolt
done
is
well.
very cool. I really like Guiding Bolt. I need to remember it gives advantage as well
the next
for
attack roll
future
against
attacks.
it, yeah.
From anyone as well.
Yep.
Carry on for a bit.
I've got some Discord ones I'm going to read out. So Mafkos 9000 donated. Greetings from Body Pen. Thank you very much. Kyle Molest. Wow, what a name. How do you guys feel about D&D Beyond? How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really nice.
Found it
to
useful?
use. Yeah, so good.
Did it make it? Do you feel like making a character on that was easier than if you had to sit
Yeah.
down with paper and stuff?
100%,
Oh,
yeah.
I can't use paper anymore.
I've
I've forgotten what pens are. Like D&D Beyond, I cannot do it without make a character without it anymore. It's just so easy. And I'm not saying this as a regular sponsor.
No, we're not sponsored right now.
Not sponsored right now. I love it. There's a couple of things that when we first started using it, there was a couple of things where I was like, I don't really know where this is, or I wish this was a lot easier. And then all of a sudden, like we come in a week later, it's like, oh, they've changed it.
Yeah.
It's
They
fixed.
fixed it, yeah.
And it's just like
they're very good at keeping
bam.
updated.
It's really good.
It's great. I really, really love it.
I make quite a lot of characters on it. I do think so, and I've said this before. I said this before we were sponsored by them, and I'm sticking to it now. I do think I don't 100% agree with their pricing scheme and the way that they price it. And I know that that's not fully in their control as well. That comes down to like how it works with Wizards and Amazon and a lot of other stuff. I do think it's slightly skewed. I think that if you subscribe to D&D Beyond, you should get the base books for free. I think you should get like Player's Handbook, Monster Manual for free. Because they're so essential to using the tool. If you're paying per month, it actually works out that you should get those books for free because it works out price-wise. And it allows you to like make characters and everything else. And then with it comes to the books, you know, if there's a way to find it cheaper to do like digital production, that'd be great, but I know that that's tricky to do. But apart from that, I do think it's a great tool. I think they're adding a lot to it. They've actually just did a poll. I retweeted it the other day, basically saying, what do you want us to work on next? Like, what should be our next priority? So they're looking at doing a bunch of different stuff, like an encounter builder, APIs that people can build their own tools around. I don't really understand how that works. It's basically magic to me. But yeah, adding things like that in, just making like quality of life changes as well to the app. So I think it's good. I think it's a good system.
It's awesome.
It's constantly improving, and it's
super useful.
Every time we use it, it just gets better and better and better.
The campaign management thing is genuinely great for somebody like me. And it's not that I distrust the players, but I know that people miss stuff quite often where I can just go in and be like, that's weird. I'm sure Ayla should have more hit points than this. And I can go in and check it and be like, oh yeah, Katie's done this. She's forgotten to add this in or something like that. And then I can say, hey, by the way, you need to do this next time. Or, you know, I can go in and be like, I'm going to give Quill the 3 scrolls that he picked up, and I can just add them into his inventory. You know, doing stuff like that makes it way easier, makes it much easier to manage, and just gives that kind of like full net for it.
Looking at their character sheets at the end of Lightfall, I feel like D&D Beyond is necessary. Kim's was a mess.
It was a fucking mess.
I rewrote mine twice, I think,
Yeah.
because it got so messy, and we'd leveled up like 3 or 4 times.
And again,
by that
it's
point.
so easy to miss stuff. When you're just doing it on paper, it's easy to forget that bonus or that modifier or that feat, you know, whatever. Michael Arks donated a hundo, saying first-time donator. Well, thank you so much. What an incredible sum. I watched High Rollers since the start, and recently my friends and me started playing D&D as well. I love you all, and when I saw that Stand Up to Cancer was in the list, I had to donate since I've sadly already lost someone very dear to me to cancer. Keep up the great work. Say hi to Trot for me since he isn't here. Well, Michael, thank you so much for the donation. And yeah, absolutely. Thanks for supporting Stand Up to Cancer as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
JB donated. Fine work once again this year, lads. Your mothers would be proud. Merry fucking Festag!
Merry Festag!
Dan donated. Thanks for all the great years of content and laughs. Thanks very much, Dan. Jake just said, I love Kayla. Kayla?
Raycon?
Rachel!
Oh, Kyla, maybe?
Kyla?
I don't know. But thanks, Jake. Ace of Thorns donated. Regular donator. Thank you very much.
Welcome back.
Just keep on shining, you wonderful people. Hope to meet you all again or meet some of you for the first time sometime in 2019. Thank you, Ace. Henry donated. Thanks for the streams this year. It's been great. Thank you very much.
That it has.
Katharina donated. Hi, Rollers. I have just 2 things to say. Firstly, I love you all and hope 2019 treats you all wonderfully. No matter how bad my week has been, High Rollers always makes me smile, and I can never thank you enough for that. And secondly, can you shout out to my friend Stahl? He's from New Zealand and rarely gets to watch live, so when he watches the VOD, it'll be a wonderful surprise for him to be shouted at by you.
Stahl!
Stahl! Hey!
Stahl!
Stahl!
Hey.
Stop!
Thanks. Thanks for your support. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks, Katharina. Jack donated, just going, woo!
Woo!
Nox, yeet!
Yeet!
Brandon P. learned how to play Minecraft watching Lewis and Simon back in the beta when those videos came out. I'm still watching. Thanks for the years of entertainment. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Brandon. And Awesome Lego. So happy to see you guys doing this every year. Keep up the amazing work, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
For buying those bundles.
Very much.
Anything else from Discord?
Favourite moment was either Lucius and the cows or Reynard proposing to Grunker.
That was very
Aww.
That was a good last minute.
That was a good
Bam!
last minute.
I'm doing that.
That's fine. I've got some things I can talk about.
What from?
Well, my favourite moments.
Your favourite moment?
Yeah.
My favourite moments, yeah.
Are you okay? So, are you saying your favourite moments as a DM, or your favourite moments watching?
My favourite moments as a DM.
Okay.
Like my just favourite moments is like, being the GM and high rollers in general. And then also a little bit from some other stuff as well. I think for me, the finale of the Lightfall obviously was epic. My favourite specific moment for it was Adric's speech, sorry. So that, his big epic speech. I'd written that, and as I was writing it, I was like, fucking yeah! It's like super hyped. So getting to actually speak it out and stuff was really fun.
That's awesome.
It was also Adric's getting to put the full power of a paladin fighter combo where he dealt like 120 points of damage in a single round.
Oh my god!
Because it was just like
that attack
3
was
attacks,
amazing.
action surge, 3 attacks. Every single one of them's a divine smite.
Awesome.
It was pretty great. It was like a really cool
the visual that you added to that as well.
of just like the rapid Omni slash style strikes.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Link's final smash in Smash, and it was just light beams just sliding out of the sky. It was so cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was really cool. So that was really fun. I think definitely the Cam Greybell arc was really good. I'm glad that kind of the way that all planned out, it kind of met my expectations for it. The starting Aerois, the initial being able to start Aerois in that, hey, you're in an airship and it's crashing. What do you do? Like, that was really fun. I'm glad that it wasn't like a slow start, that I could just throw you in and it was, and everyone's like running around. That was really good. The Brookstone stuff that we mentioned earlier, that was really fun. I think my favorite moments are still to come because I'm looking forward to you guys exploring the wider world.
Yeah.
And getting to see more of that. The stuff with Nightfrost was really cool because the Eterna are something which I had quite planned from the beginning, and I've been very excited to share with everybody. So that was really, really good as well. There was obviously a lot of emotional moments over the time as well, like Vala's kidnapping and the resulting deaths and stuff like that. And then also Vala being rescued, like when she realized what had happened and like, the fact that Quill and Lucius had been injured and who she'd lost and everything else. That was really great. I know it's like, people joke because I get teary-eyed, and I know Tom and Trot make fun of me and stuff, but that's my favorite thing in D&D.
I like those
when
moments
so
as much as you do.
Yeah.
It's just I don't have tear ducts.
Yeah, you have no emotions. I get it. So like all of those kind of emotive moments.
It's cool.
Are really, really cool. The epilogue we did for the Lightfall campaign, where it was basically like, so what happens over the next 10, 20, 30 years? Like, and I went around the table and everybody, said what they did. God, I was just floods of tears because it was amazing seeing everybody so invested in their character and so happy to see their character have this story ending. Like, that was super important to me.
Yeah, that's really
I'm glad
cool.
that people cared about their characters enough to think about that.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy in D&D. Like, when I was a kid, when we played, you didn't care about your character that much. It was just a character that you played. So being able to have that where everybody was like genuinely emotionally invested was top stuff. So that was really good. The other one for me, the main one, and I know this isn't necessarily High Rollers related, but obviously was doing the Stream of Many Eyes and being in Critical Role. Callie is such a character that's become so important to me now, and like all the artwork and stuff like that, I'm just like, every time I see it, it melts my heart because I don't normally get to have a character. I'm normally playing a wide range of people, and I love the NPCs, but there's something special about this being my character in another GM's game, and being in a game with like Matt, who's been a friend of mine for so long, was top notch. And then the Stream of Many Eyes, like going out there and meeting all of these D&D alumni and all these like designers and people that I've watched and respected for so long was just like, it was amazing. So yeah, those are definitely my highlights, I think, for everything. And then a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about, like the cow fight was really funny and all that kind of good stuff. The Vesselvania house was...
Oh, that was fucking glorious.
It was that moment where you guys came out of the room and you said, like, we're going to leave. We've made our decision. And I rolled because I had this mechanic where I was like, every hour she moves around the house randomly because she's a ghost. Like, she just wanders where she wants. And I fucking, the last roll for the last hour, and I was like, fuck. And so, like, describing this, like, you look up and you see this woman and Katie's face just like, oh, God, no. And you're all just like, no! You're all just freaking out. I love those moments. I love those moments.
So good.
I think, again, that's something that I don't want to attribute it entirely to the injury table, but it was just after we'd had a massive fight as well with those 2 injuries and 2 very close deaths, that it was just, again, another massive weight that was added to that combat.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't like thinking about it.
It's too spooky.
Yeah, everybody was just like, no, 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 no. I think it was like, I can't remember if it was you or Kim or somebody's just like going, no, 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 like the cat name, like, no, 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 no. So funny.
It's like, we got to get out.
Watching you guys freak out was
It's
so
like all the
good.
bad feelings, like, no.
What you got there, Tommy boy?
I've just been copying. There was actually a lot of questions in the Discord. I didn't realise.
We can go through those now because we've got like 20 minutes still.
So, is the world of Aerois fully planned out, or are you still developing it as the campaign progresses?
Still developing it. So the way that I tend to do my campaigns is I plan out the vague areas where the PCs are, and then we'll slowly build out the other continents. Aerois is like 1,000,000 times bigger than the Lightfall campaign as well, than Iraq. So Aerois is, I think, like 5 big continents, 2 major archipelagos, and a series of the sky cities, which are themselves basically massive locations.
How does Savona compare to Iraq?
Savona is about the same size as Iraq.
Holy shit, and that's just 1 of 5.
That's just 1 of 5, and then you've got the archipelagos and the sky cities as well. And they're all very... I've tried to be much more in detailed with their economics and their, the governments and kingdoms and stuff like that as well. So Aerois is pretty big. So I haven't planned it all out yet. It's always going to be growing. Hopefully growing with the help of these guys as well, like as they come up with more stuff for their backstories.
Oh, yeah. Have you forgotten about Nova's hand being infected?
Sometimes I do things where I'm like, I'm going to make you roll a saving throw and I'm going to describe some stuff, but I'm not actually going to make you get an infected hand. I'm doing it to scare Kim because it's funny.
Yeah. It would have been healed by now anyway.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, right? With this bloody person on the team, miss 5 hit points, cure disease. There's no point. There's just no point worrying about it anymore.
Everyone gets heals.
Yeah. Paladins, man. So
you
good.
get a heal, and you get a heal.
Yeah. I don't even have to roll for it. It's done.
Just there.
It's gone. You've done
Take it.
See ya.
I need a rest, and then it's back again.
Isn't it possible for Sentry to reanimate Echo? I thought he was basically like a familiar and can be restored when she takes a rest or something.
Yeah, we talked about this, isn't it? So yes, he can just be repaired. He can be replenished like a familiar. But you wanted it to actually be like, you wanted to find a reason to rebuild him and an actual in-game RP way to do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we're working towards that. But I mean, yeah, it's it's up to you how you want to do that. Like if you want to, find some remnant tech or buy some old Guardian parts or something like that. That's a way that can happen. So yeah.
That's the plan.
Cool. So you've basically personally added some...
Yeah, Rhiannon's personally chosen that she wants to do it in an RP way rather than just, I click my fingers and he's back kind of thing. Because it's basically like you have to pay a certain amount of gold and do an hour-long ritual.
Yeah.
And then you can get them back. But
It'd be cool to just have to physically
the
acquire the
parts and
means
stuff.
to make him again. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Are you overwhelmed by all the questions being asked?
Not really.
No.
I like it. I love answering questions.
This is great.
Have any of the characters developed or grown in a way that you hadn't considered when thinking them up?
Interesting question. What about you guys?
Definitely. I mean...
Yeah, Phil's done a lot of growing.
I think when it comes to how characters react to the world, for me, I kind of leave it to the scenarios they're placed in. So I obviously couldn't predict episode 1, crash in an airship. the murders in Rose Hall, losing the eye, saving Vala and his reaction to Brookstone and things like that. Like, if I spend ages writing down, well, if he's in this situation, then he'll do this thing. I don't know how I want him to grow. I just want him to grow naturally with the world that surrounds him. And I think, there's a lot of stuff that surprised me. Like, he's gone from meek and mild to...
He has his moments of authority, and like that moment when you stood up against the crowd of Brookstone and like you were calling him out and stuff.
Yeah.
To go from the meek... Sentry.
Yeah, like I think he knows when he's angered and when he's crossed, he takes that position. And like when he was called leader, before any of that even happened, surprised me because he'd shown no reason to be the authority, in my opinion. But then obviously when everything happened and he suddenly, bam, this is what he's going to do now. He's a leader. And he's calling the shots, and also he's basically telling someone that he killed their son.
Did do that.
He did do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting messages on Discord now.
Yeah. What about the other characters? Rhiannon and you?
I think Sentry has become kind of more gentle than I think I envisioned her. I think I wanted her to be more of like a... In the start, I imagined her being like this badass, like, like...
Well, she's a soldier.
She's a soldier, yeah. So I thought she'd be... more sort of run and gun, hack and slash type. But she's got this like really she's got this nice sort of soft personality to her, which I think kind of is a nice contrast against her exterior. Like she might look like really imposing and freaky, but she's just she just wants to care and protect.
And I think that's come about with the group as well, because obviously you made Sentry and then the group got together and adventured together, and really the group is a lot of soft, they need to be protected. Like Lucius, Quill and Nova, they're not warriors, they're not soldiers, they're not fighters. The only one who is Ayla, who's very fiercely independent.
Yeah.
So I think Sentry becoming more soft and motherly and protective of these three useless children makes sense. Like, it's, you know, she's got to look after them because they can't clearly fight for themselves, or they can, but they need a little bit of help along the way.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
I really like
that
it.
She comes out. Yeah, I like that as well. And yeah, I think it's people would see Sentry as this badass robot warrior, and it's not. You know, there's a softer side there. I think I feel like Lucius has changed quite a lot. I feel like Lucius has grown up. Like, you know, if not the most, then one of the most out of everybody. Because obviously he started off as just the obnoxious daddy's boy. And he still has that, but there are also these moments of maturity. I will always remember after the Brookstone thing, Lucius is the one who was first like, we gotta fucking find this guy. Like, he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna clear these people away. Like, he was on it. Like, Trott really roleplayed that really well, of him like taking command of the situation as well. And I think like having Lucius and Quill being the ones doing that, whilst Nova was just freaking out, and you know, Sentry was upset, and Ayla's just like, well, I don't know what to do. Ayla wasn't there at the time. Made a really nice kind of contradiction kind of thing. So yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah, that was nice. Any more, Tommy?
Yeah, I think we need to rattle through these because we haven't got a lot of time left. What made Rhiannon and Tom join? Like, why did you guys want to? I think it's a slightly different question. I wanted to because I've always known about D&D, and I've never found a group to play it. And I joined you in Civ a couple of times, and it was great fun. Yeah. And I loved it. And there's actually, in one of the Civ episodes, I think it's the Snowflake one, when Shin nukes the world, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened. There's one episode where I think I say, I'd love to play D&D, and that was before I joined High Rollers. So you can find that. But yeah, I just really wanted to play some D&D.
That's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's something I want to dip my toe into.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yep. And I think it was one of those things where with Tom, because I'd done Civ with him, I was like, Tom's really funny. I think he'd get on well with the group. Let's invite him in and try him out for a month. And then with Rhea, it was the same thing of like, we really liked her as a person. I knew you'd done streams with Kregel and stuff, so I knew you weren't completely new to streaming. Yeah. And I was like, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Right.
In case I need to ask again, how is Rhiannon so fantastic?
How are you so fantastic?
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline.
There you go. Awkward Dog Boner sent us a message.
Oh.
It says, what happened to that Awkward Dog Boner donation guy? He was really cool.
He was really cool.
He was really cool. We miss you.
We miss you, Dog Boner.
Yeah. Would you fuck a mermaid?
Just sure, not answering.
I've got a question for Mark. As a DM myself, I love to create nice encounters which sometimes do not get used. I'd love to hear what you do with the content that you have prepared for sessions, but the players never experience due to choices or other circumstances while playing, like recently with the Banshee.
Most of the time, it just gets shelved, ready if they ever go back, then I'll just keep that on board. And then I might think about how it's changed or adapted over time. Other times, it just gets reskinned and used elsewhere, like depending on the scenario.
Yeah,
So,
Cool.
illusion of choice.
yeah.
I'd like to know how Mark thinks the alternate dungeon masters like Kim have grown with their one-shots.
Aw,
Well, it's hard because I'm very rarely in them. That's the thing, is often Kim does the one-shots when I'm away, so I haven't gotten to play yet, and I don't have the time to watch them back, sadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like Kim has definitely learnt a lot over the time. Like Kim's always been really good. She comes to me with a lot of ideas, and she's very creative, and and she cares about the players having fun, and that's ultimately what makes a good dungeon master. And I think it's just the only thing that Kim's learning now is just the improvisational skills, and that's just something you get from time and practice.
She did very, very well with
Yeah.
the house.
Oh yeah,
The Asylum,
that wasn't.
yeah,
that
what
was
was it
so
called?
good. I think
Creepy Asylum.
Can't remember what we named that one.
Yeah.
something Asylum. but it was
Um,
so good, so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to route through some donations just while you find some questions. Travis donated, hi, I love you, thank you very much. Generally Literate added $5 to the donation. Hey Mark, how do you go about structuring D&D sessions in terms of balancing combat, non-combat, and helping new players find their way? Loving the new campaign, even though I run my own D&D group on Sundays, so I have to stick to the podcast. Generally, I don't try and structure it specifically. I don't sit there and say like, oh, we'll have a fight every 2 hours or whatever. I just generally look at the locations, the scenarios, what's been happening, and then just write encounters that would make sense. In terms of newer players, the only thing I try and do is make sure that like I give a certain amount of my attention to like when Rhiannon joined is like making sure that I would ask, what does Sentry think about this? Or what does Sentry want to do? Just to make sure that they feel included, but then also like just checking in with them outside of the game. And I did that like saying to you like, how are you finding it? Are you okay? Is there anything you need help on? And just doing that in general generally seems to be the best way. And just asking them to be involved. So there's that. Daft Dave 41, High Rollers Jingle Jam, still best Jingle Jam. Thanks for all the laugh, the oh shit moments, the wait, what just happened moments over the last nearly 3 years. Here's for cracking 2019 and whatever all of you lovely people throw at us. Thank you very much. And then Connor donated a half hundo. 2018 has come and gone, and while many of us change and grow in the coming year, one thing will never change is that love I share with this community. Been an amazing year, you guys rock. Sorry, I'm a critter. That's not a problem at all. Me too.
Cool. A couple more from Discord. A couple of friends want to start playing D&D. When creating characters, is it better to fit them in the world after knowing about it, or create your character, then fit it to the world?
I think you can do both. I think as long as you've got a flexible dungeon master who can bend their world a little around you, and you're willing to be flexible and bend your character around their world, you can easily do both. It's a compromise between both sides. Like, for example, when we made it, Rhiannon really wanted to play a Warforged. I was like, okay, I don't want to use Warforged specifically because that's another campaigns thing. Yeah. I can make a race which is very similar and has similar traits and stuff like that, and we can use that.
Yeah.
When Tom had the idea of he was like, I want to be a Birdman cleric. He didn't have a god in mind, so he was like, oh yeah, Hesper, this god sounds great. I'll use that one and stuff like that.
And then I think Hesper slowly became more
I've
focused
adjusted
around
it. Yeah,
Aarakocra.
Yeah, I changed it so that Hesper became the father of Aarakocra.
Yeah,
and
so it made more sense.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for fans to do their own version of Aerois in a future setting? In a future campaign setting?
Well, the ultimate hope, one thing which I've been working on for the last 6 months is I've been writing up the Aerois campaign as if it were to be made into a campaign book, with the hope that one day I will publish that book and then you guys can use that to run your own adventures, very similar to what Matt did with the Tal'Dorei campaign guide. Because Aerois is such a big world, that book will probably take the form of, it will be focused on Suvona, another continent, and then a few of the Sky Cities, and then each book will be a different continent and different set of Sky Cities and stuff like that, but you'll get like all the race information and stuff in the first book, so
cool.
Hopefully you can use that to run your games. It will take me a bit of a time, and I haven't quite fully worked out how I'm going to do it because it requires a lot of artwork that I need to pay for, but yeah, we'll figure it out, whether it's Kickstarted or something, I don't know.
Tom, how are you planning on breaking Mark in 2019? I don't write this stuff. It just happens.
30 just happened.
It just happens. When will Sentry going feral start to become an issue?
You are, so if I remember, Century is 13.
13.
So
2 more years. 2 years.
Well, 15 is the average.
And 15 is the
Is
average when
Yeah.
they start
It
to
could
go,
happen
when they go feral.
Doesn't mean it
so-
can't happen sooner.
Yeah. I'm working on a longer piano arrangement of the Aerois theme. Is there anywhere I can send it when it's done so you guys can hear it? Or would it be sent
What's
with
the
fan art?
fan art? Yeah, fan
High
art now.
rollers. Is it highrollers@gmail.com?
I think so, yeah.
Go there.
Use the fan art email because the best thing with that as well is Trot is the one who normally does the fan art videos,
Yeah.
and Trot is the one who made the music and the
Yeah.
theme.
He'd love to hear it.
He'd love
Would
to hear it.
that.
Mark,
Last
how did
one.
you feel? This is from Nightjar, by the way.
Oh, perfect.
Thanks, Nigel.
How did you feel when you saw Callie was included in the new Critical Role animated intro?
Oh, that
Super
was
fucking
so
happy.
cool.
And
Man.
also, no, sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say, like, that was a genuine, like, I watched it, I was super excited, I loved the intro, and then when I saw her come up, I was just like,
Yeah.
my precious girl, she's in that world, and I love it.
That intro is so like.
I cannot wait for the fucking 9 to go back to Zadash so they can get her package. And Matt's been holding this package of gifts for months, and I want them to get it.
Yeah. Also, when are we getting an Echo plushie? And I'm a Delight merch.
So I'm a Delight merch. We are talking about like doing a one-off, like, print on demand run. So it won't make a lot of money for us, but people can buy it if they want. Echo plushie, I am down for. We
Me
need to look
too.
into it,
I
but
want
yeah,
one.
we need to check out.
Yeah, I
how
mean,
much we can do that.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to do. Plushies and stuff generally are very expensive.
Yeah.
But I think that's time.
Just one last donation because it's a half hundo
From Metamanu.
from
wow.
Metamanu, one of our regulars. Mark, would you let a one shot happen so you can play for once? Love you guys. See you next year. We talked about it. I think like I would definitely be up for doing some stuff like that. Maybe when I need a bit of a break. But the last thing to really talk about is one thing. It is more of me GMing. But one thing we've been talking about is doing a little a side project.
Yes.
A little mini series, not sponsored. It won't be in Dungeons and Dragons. It will be in a different system, but it will be themed around Cowboy Bebop, Firefly.
Yeah.
Space Cowboys is the working title I have for it. We just need to talk to the rest of the group, figure out who wants to be in it, because obviously a lot of people have got other stuff going on. I know these two are keen.
So keen.
But if Trot and Kim and Katie can't do it, then maybe we can ask people like Martin or Lydia or those kind of guys.
And that will be on the High Rollers Twitch
Yes.
channel, not the Ox channel.
Yeah, and it'll be on High Rollers
but
YouTube.
You can follow us on Twitter and you'll see all the updates there. We are coming up with it.
Yeah,
as we are
basically.
now.
But it's a cool project for 2019. We want to do more stuff like that. We want
Yeah.
to do more like little one-shots and YouTube content and videos and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well. So more to look forward to in 2019.
Also, New Year's resolution. I kind of want to DM this year at some point as a shot or something.
Ooh.
My boy!
I want to try and do it.
My
off
boy!
stream. I've done it off stream before, but we'll see.
Yeah.
My sweet boy.
Look
Maybe
at
we should do like a
this.
little 2-week break in the summer.
Oh,
Tom's holiday.
I feel like I've now committed to this.
Oh,
You've committed to it.
amazing. You said it now.
Nah, see, look,
On
Chet loves
stream.
it. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us for this look back on
Rollback.
our rollback.
Do you get it?
on 2018
Rollback.
for High Rollers. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to make this a little yearly tradition.
Yeah. Great.
Hopefully next year we'll have more people with
We'll
us.
see
as
you on the
well.
29th of December next year, which is the last Sunday.
No,
of the year.
we'll see you next week on
I'm
the 6th
saying
of
for the next
January.
rollback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you for the next one. But yeah, we'll be back next week, 6th of January, back in Aerois, back to the campaign. We can't wait. Thank you so much for supporting the Jingle Jam. Thank you so much for supporting us throughout the year. Take care. Roll on Sunday.
See you in
Thank
2019.
you very much.
Bye. Roll on.
Looking at some demon dicks all everywhere. Some hog-tied elves giving unicorn head. Aliens with tits? Why the fuck not? I'm a pretty weird guy, you better watch out, thoughts. I've tried all the Twitch streams, it don't get me off. Or the normal porn sites just make me soft. I'll be squeezing my hog like a little fumbler. I only get my porn from the blood slap tumbler.
Clean your browser.
Yeah.
Clean your browser.
Yeah. Fuck, where's my fucking shit? I want my fucking porn! I can't find my fucking porn on top of it! Where did it go? Where'd it go? Look at that shit out! I'm gonna fucking flip a table or some shit! Where's my fucking porn? God damn it! What the fuck is this shit? What's the fucking point? I'm not delivering fucking presents to kids? Fuck this shit! I'm gonna get fucking high!
In December 2014, police provided figures to a journalist on how many people had died in canals and waterways. The information was presented to a professor. He believed there may have been foul play involved. The media published the story, claiming there may be a serial killer at large. Widespread reporting understandably raised concerns amongst the local community. There is evidence to indicate the killer is responsible. Those people who either climbed out or have been rescued reported the canal pusher following them and pushing them in.
I love pushing people.
Cool winter waters flow through my heart. You stand beside me, but I wanna push us apart. 'Cause you would look better if you would look better if I pushed you. I will walk away as you're sailing down river. There is a darkness inside me. Oh, every person I see, I can't meet without pushing them away. And I'm sailing away. I bought a boat with my money, and now I push everyone off that. Oh, I'm a nautical pusher now. I'm gone. One day I found myself back in Bristol. Oh no. That night I went out walking through Castle Park, and I saw you standing with your back away from me. So I pointed out something that I saw, that I pushed as hard as I could, 'cause I'm a pusher. Yeah. I'm a pusher, girl, yeah. My name's Louis Friendly, and I am a Bristol pusher. Why does the Yorkshire have to spell it out every year? Why won't you see the man pushing thee?
to apprentice.
Yeah.
She said, hit me, and I said, hello. I said, do you like playing Uno? She said, I played it before, but could I show us some more? Plus 4. The aim of the game is to reduce your hand side to the name. That's right. Uno, you just wipe one card, and then you slam it down, and then you're done for learn. Yeah. Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. You're my Uno. I went up to her and I said, hey girl, how old are you? She said 14. Plus 4. 14. Plus 4. I said, well, that's great. Why don't you come and sit right over here? Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. Let's play Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno. Uno, you're my Uno.
You know all this music here? It's got me in the mood for a little dicey card game called Uno. Last week, me and my Uno group, we started this weird psychedelic musical experience. Uno.
Face melting solo.
Yeah. Oh, we need a synth solo.
Is that recorded? I thought you were writing
Were you not recording that?
What?
No, that was it. That was the tape.
Okay.
We're going with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going with that.
It's more of a soundscape. It's a soundscape.
That was
definitely
great.
not a
People
thing.
were loving
That
it.
was-
Baby dick 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 baby dick 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 baby dick 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 baby dick droopy dong 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 da dong da dong droopy dong 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 da dong da dong droopy dong 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 da dong da dong droopy dong chubby cho 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 chubby cho 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 chubby cho 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 chubby cho veiny brick 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 veiny brick 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 veiny brick 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 veiny brick quivering cock 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 quivering cock 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 quivering cock 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 quivering cock fuck that fuck that fuck that fuck that fuck that Done it, nailed it.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. No, that was good. That was good.
That's it. Would you like a double?
Yeah. Quivering cock 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 quivering cock 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 quivering cock 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 quivering cock fuck that fuck that fuck that fuck that fuck that
So I think that's the finish.